such as AI has been grabbing headlines for some time now. But do you know the same tech can be leveraged to assess the job search? Multiverse is one such startup that helps in navigating the challenges of the future workforce by helping job seekers comprehend global skill trends. To share more light on this, joining us today is Randeep Sudan, a former IAS officer and World Bank official, who is now the founder and CEO of Multiverse, a Singapore based jobs losses due to advert of new age technology such as AI has been grabbing headlines for some time now. But do you know the same tech can be leveraged to assess the job search? Multiverse is one such startup that helps in navigating the challenges of the future workforce by helping job seekers comprehend global skill trends. To share more light on this, joining us today is Randeep Sudan, a former IAS officer and World Bank official, who is now the founder and CEO of Multiverse, a Singapore based company. Listen in.
The name multiverse is actually a word which is related to quantum physics. And there's a many worlds hypothesis in quantum physics, which talks about the possibility of there being infinite possibilities, you know. So I thought that what we are trying to do, we are trying to expand possibilities for a large number of people across the world. And there is an opportunity to afford infinite possibilities for people in terms of their career paths, in terms of their lives. And that's what inspired us to go for the word multiverse. We are focused on leveraging digital technologies for the future of work. And we find that this space is rapidly shifting. If you look at what's happening on artificial intelligence, on automation, in robotics, there will be a lot of disruption in labor markets going forward, and India will be no exception. So we need to find ways how to anticipate where the future is heading and prepare individuals and organizations for that emerging future. And this is a big challenge. It is a challenge on a global scale. It can be very disruptive in terms of society, in terms of the economy, and of course, in terms of the future of countries and individuals and organizations. So we feel that the work we are doing can have a huge societal impact. And that's why we are focusing on this particular part of connecting technology with impact. So there are governments which are actively planning for the future and getting organized for those changes. Some of the most important examples in this regard are, for example, Singapore itself. So Singapore does two things. One is it has a Center for Strategic Futures in the Prime Minister's office, which is continuously scouting for opportunities and risks for Singapore. And it does this exercise every 3 months. So in a frequent refresh cycle, they are able to get their entire higher civil service involved, and they are looking for where the shifts are happening. Also, they have established a skills future, which is focused just on preparing Singaporeans for what skills will be required going forward. And they are very much aware and very much plugged in to what is happening in labor markets. Of course, there are other countries, mostly in the developing world, which are not so active and are not anticipating the changes that are coming through. So there's a wide range of differences among governments in terms of tackling this issue. There is a need for having a dedicated organization on thinking about the future, which should, of course, thinking about the future is something which should be across the government and across the academic institutions, but somebody has to be able to organize and orchestrate this. So typically, Niti Aayog or the planning part of the government would be playing such a role, but I feel that they are not so active. For example, the top civil servants in India are not uniformly made capable to deal with strategic foresight as a discipline. Unlike Singapore, where every single senior civil servant has to have a mandatory training on futurecraft. So everybody is completely plugged in to the tools, techniques, and also to the constantly thinking about where the future is heading. I think that's a piece which is completely missing in India, number one. Number two, you need to have the analytics in place to be constantly looking at what shifts are taking happening in the world. Now, those analytics, I don't see any publicly available data from India where such analytics are made available to everybody. That look, as compared to say the last quarter, these are the shifts that are taking place in the demand for skills. So that is missing. Then there is a piece which is missing in terms of creating an inventory of skills in the country, which India, is I think well positioned to do because we have done digital technologies at scale. So if you look at the digital public infrastructure, you look at Aadhaar, you look at UPI, you look at Diksha, the education platform. So India has done things at scale and leveraged digital technologies very well. I think one area which is ripe for disruption and where India could certainly play a role is to create a skills inventory, you know, of the entire population. So, which means that you have digital credentials which not only capture academic qualifications, but they also capture work experience, which is a little more challenging. But there are initiatives internationally where people are trying to capture experience as well. For example, the IEEE has a learning and experience records, you know. So they're trying to develop a standard around that. So I think that if we create an inventory of skills in India, and if we are able to do the analytics on where skills are heading, then one can identify skill gaps and be able to bridge those gaps much faster in terms of adapting curriculum design to those shifts and also providing some information to individuals and organizations as to where things are heading and where the opportunities might lie. So this needs to be done as a very dedicated and high priority item of work, which currently is, I don't see signs of that in the government. Precisely this point that you have to deal with this emerging future of work in a holistic way. It cannot be dealt in silos. So number one is you need to understand where skills are going. So you need to have the capability to analyze on global scale what is the demand for skills and how those skills are trending. That's one capability. But when you are preparing people for the future, there is a lag between the future and what you are preparing because you cannot completely anticipate what's going to happen, say, 3 years down the line. And you are preparing a student who's spending 3 years, say, in a graduation program. And how do you align your education system to be completely plugged into where the future is heading? So that's a challenge for which you need to do two things. One is you need to have a better track of technologies. Where are those technologies going? What are the patents being filed? What are the VC investments in which technologies are they going? What are the science and technology publications talking about? What is the frequency of mention of various specific technologies? Also, you need to understand what is the potential employment intensity of those technologies. So, say when generative AI is coming, what might be its implications for employment? So that analytics needs to be continuously done. And in addition to this, you need to reorient the education system completely in a way that is more future focused in terms of giving enduring skills to students rather than just focusing on technical skills or on a particular domain. And secondly, you also need to give more work-based learning or work-integrated learning has to be a much bigger piece of our education system. And it has to be in areas which are emergent areas. so that the population is well prepared for those areas. So I feel there's a need for a major overhaul on education. There's a major overhaul required in terms of strategic foresight, and there's a major overhaul required in terms of doing analytics on a global scale rather than just focused on India. We worked, for example, with Dun and Bradstreet, who were looking at what should be their strategy to leverage their existing data and which are the areas that they might be considering going forward. So we brought in students from international universities who worked in teams and focused on this problem. So essentially, the focus was that how could Dun& Bradstreet leverage its data to get into fintech and to connect that with SMEs, because they have those capabilities in terms of availability of data. And fintech is an emergent area where a lot of innovation is happening. And because we have a societal impact dimension hardwired into our company, so we were looking at how this might make a difference to small and medium enterprises. So we brought in these teams of students. We trained them rapidly on something called the actionable futures process, which we have designed, which is how do you systematically think about the future and then focus on this problem and then offer recommendations to Dun and Bradstreet. So our feedback from Dun and Bradstreet is that they were surprised that when they were doing a similar exercise within the company, and there were people who understand that company inside out, they've been spent years in that company. If they came up with 100 suggestions, this team of students were able to reach a level of 70 without any exposure to the company and come up with some excellent ideas. So Dun and Bradstreet thought that yes, these people are able to bring innovation, are able to bring cutting edge thinking, and come up with new ideas, which were difficult even for the those people who were very much part of the company. So that is a proof that this is something which is important. Also, if you look at the US itself, if you look at computer science graduates, only 6% are able to get internships. So obviously, there's a need for a different model where internships have to be scaled up. And that is possible only if you do internships on a virtual sort of approach using remote internships. And if you are able to do this in a way that brings international teams to work together, because then you are not only focusing on a problem which you're trying to solve in a real world context, you are developing skills in students for doing that. But when they work across geographical boundaries with different teams, you're also promoting social and emotional learning, soft skills, communication. How do you have more cultural sensitivity? How do you work in terms of teams? How do you communicate with them? How do you adapt to time zone differences? How do you negotiate what their ideas are and your ideas are and come to a consensus? All these are very valuable skills, which is what we are focusing on. Yeah, so we typically work with, of course, organizations, because that's the starting point. The starting point is a problem that you're trying to solve. And then we work with students from different universities. So we worked with students from Ivy League, for example, Princeton, from Berkeley, from University of Michigan. We worked with Boston University students. We have worked with students from a university called Lund in Sweden. We worked with the students from Tilburg University in the Netherlands, ESCP, which is a business school in Paris. We worked with Durham in UK and with the University of Queensland in Australia. And as part of our own development of solutions, we have worked with students from the IIIT Hyderabad. So they have also worked with us, and they developed 2 MVPs for us, which itself is a test case of what value these students can bring to companies and to startups. No, absolutely. In fact, our societal impact dimension of our work would necessitate that we work with the students in developing countries. We work with tier 2, tier 3 type of institutions. But just to validate our thinking, we thought it would be good to start with this Ivy League and see, what is the value that these students can bring. And then we could be able to integrate students, say, from tier two or tier three institutions from developing countries to work with some of these Ivy League students as well. And we may realize that actually, there is a lot of innovation which those students from tier two, tier three in developing countries can bring. So this is just a phase in our development, but our ultimate objective is to work with students across the world. It is absolutely necessary because there is no option there. So, for example, just look at generative AI. So much has changed because of generative AI, and it has started impacting virtually every function. So, unless you keep pace with that, you will not be able to compete. In many ways, survival itself will be difficult because the costing is so different. Now, just imagine because of generative AI, there is this, Sri Lankan billionaire in the US, or rather in Canada, who's Chamath Palapitya. He is a billionaire, but he has started an incubator which is called 8090, which means any established SaaS software, for example, they can come up to 80% of its functionality at a cost which is 90% less. So you look at the metrics that it takes years and it takes millions of investments to come with, say, a system like SAP or a system like Salesforce. If you can do 80% of that at a cost which is 90% lower because of what artificial intelligence and generative AI is able to bring, it will be highly disruptive to markets. We have a company in Hyderabad itself, for example, Brain Enterprises, which is getting into low code, no code type of development of solutions, and they are also able to compress the time significantly. In fact, I was talking to their one of their mentors, and he was saying that they don't have a CFO, a human CFO. It's a digital CFO. Even the CEO's function is largely done by a digital CEO. So just imagine, you can see these as weak signals. This is the starting point of what, if amplified, would be highly disruptive to companies and organizations. So there is definitely, you can see that this will. Exactly. So you have to constantly track what is changing. You have to understand where that change is heading, and you have to extrapolate what might be the future if that change gets amplified. Right? So it's a leap of imagination as well, which is, in other words, called as scenario planning. You create the scenarios that, look, if this continues on this path, or if the path shifts in a particular direction, what might that scenario look like in the future? And then you backcast from preferable scenarios and see what you need to do today. But you're absolutely right. This idea about having a degree and that is being your sort of claim to fame for the rest of your life is gone. You have to be constantly on the learning curve, constantly. So the ability to learn and unlearn becomes a critical capability which needs to be acquired and systematically practiced through your life journey. That's a big change. Yeah, so I think the educational institutions will also have to shift and adapt. So I'll give you an example. The University of South Florida is, I think they recently hired 116 people who are expert in artificial intelligence, and they're embedding AI faculty in every single department. So AI across the curriculum, is what they are trying to do. So they're adapting. They realize that AI is going to make a profound shift in education. That's one thing. You also find that technology itself might solve a problem of learning faster. Because if you look at immersive technologies, it has been established that people can learn much faster as compared to classroom based approaches. So, if I give you the example of Walmart, It was running a program using virtual reality where it could train its workers in 15 minutes what it would take workers 8 hours to be trained on. So you see the difference in terms of accelerated learning. Similarly, I think it was Verizon, which was a training call center staff to handle irate customers. And that using immersive learning could be done much, much faster as compared to normal learning. I will give you a personal example. I visited one of the centers of excellence in Singapore, and they gave me augmented vision glasses, and they say, "Can you repair this oil rig?" I have not had any experience of oil rigs. That's the first time in my life that I'm seeing oil rig, sitting there on the floor. But with the help of glasses, it tells you what part I need to look at, what tool I need to use, in what direction I need to use that tool, and how I need to replace that particular part. Now, all that I could do without any guidance except the augmented glasses that I had. And so just imagine that there may be somebody who's a cab driver, and tomorrow you have autonomous cars, and you need to retrain that cab driver in some other area. Maybe he has to go and inspect a substation, electric substation. So some basic training, of course. I'm not saying that training is completely gone, but with these type of new technologies, and with Apple coming out with Vision Pro, which is just the starting point. What the iPhone was in 2007 and what it is today is the capability is very different. So just imagine where these technologies will go and how they will get democratized, and the price will come down with the competition. So the learning process itself can be accelerated, and educational institutions, as they are currently organized, will have to adapt. Otherwise, they will become irrelevant. Yes, so the German Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, they launched a global challenge called Innovate 2030. And it was a challenge, the focus was on digital for climate change. So it was in the context of climate change. And one of the challenges was to provide some ideas for the city of Porto Viejo in Ecuador as to how they could introduce smart tourism and sustainability in the city. So we proposed some solutions which looked at digital technologies, especially using technologies which are immersive technologies, using the metaverse, as a framing concept, using approaches where high value tourism could come physically to Porto Viejo, but a lot of revenues and a lot of visibility could be generated using smart technologies, especially by creating galleries of climate art, by promoting other assets which are sustainability oriented in the metaverse. So that set of solutions, it won us the global award from Innovate 2030. Yes, I'm happy that you are in this space and you are using emerging technologies to do this. So just imagine if one had to establish a media house earlier, it would be so expensive to do that. And it may not be feasible to have conversations internationally without any boundaries. But today the world is changing, and I'm happy that nimble, agile, startup oriented, highly technology focused, groups are coming up like yours to change the space and democratize it, so that startups like us also will, are profiled and have a voice in terms of global reach and global coverage, which is very, very useful.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
At today's event, the 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. To welcome the honorable dignitaries, today's chief guest, Shri Avnish Chawla ji, Dr. Satyanarayan Chawla ji, Chairman, Board of Governors, NIPER Hyderabad, and Dr. S. Gananadmu, Registrar, NIPER Hyderabad. Now, I would like to request Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to please felicitate our chief guest, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to present the annual report of NIPER Hyderabad.
On this auspicious occasion of 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. On this very auspicious day, I welcome you all again at NIPER Hyderabad. And I am happy to share that the institute is ranked 1 in 2023. मैं पुनः आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद। नमस्कार।
Dr. Satyanarayan Chavaji, Chairman, Board of Governors, NIPER Hyderabad.
Journey of a student, the biggest day is when they join the course, when they receive the degree in the convocation. I wish all of you a great future ahead of you and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to exhortation for the event.
Exhortation to the recipients.
Thank you, sir. You shall take all this as the guiding philosophy of your life.
I admit you to your respective degrees and I charge you that ever in your thought and action you prove yourself worthy of the honor conferred on you.
Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean NIPER Hyderabad, will present the list of candidates who will be admitted to their degrees in absentia.
Anika Sood, she is receiving her degree in the PhD in the area of pharmacology. Geni Gacko, he is receiving the degree in the area of natural products.
I admit the candidates whose names are set out in the list to the respective degrees in absentia.
Dean NIPER Hyderabad to read out the name of the recipients of medals.
In the area of pharmaceutical analysis, Talari Sesikala. Pujita Pindale, she is receiving her master's degree in pharmacology and toxicology. Miss Momin Alfia, she is receiving the degree in the area of regulatory toxicology.
Today's chief guest, Shri Anish Chawla ji, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, to kindly deliver the convocation address.
And address this distinguished gathering on the occasion of the 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. Many special congratulations to all those who excelled and won the medals. As graduates of NIPER, you are well equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to meet these challenges to the pharmaceutical industry and to the growth of healthcare sector in India as a whole. Thank you, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean NIPER Hyderabad, to read out the name of the recipients of PhD degree.
Announcing the names of the successful PhD graduates of the year 2023. The first one is Miss Mekhal Priyanka Nirapada in the area of medicinal chemistry. Mr. P. Ramulu in the area of medicinal chemistry. Mr. Pawar Gaurav Bhagwan in the area of medicinal chemistry. Miss Omni Ojisvita in the area of medicinal chemistry.
Request Registrar NIPER Hyderabad to call out the name of the recipients of MS, MTech, MBA degree graduate from 2021 to 2023 batch. To declare the 11th convocation closed.
I declare the convocation closed.
I request the faculty to get up and face the students. And give them a big hand.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
At today's event, the 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. To welcome the honorable dignitaries, today's chief guest, Shri Avnish Chawla ji, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, Government of India. Dr. Satyanarayan Chawla ji, Chairman, Board of Governors, NIPER Hyderabad and CEO, Laureus Lab at Hyderabad. Director, NIPER Hyderabad, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir, Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean, NIPER Hyderabad, and Dr. S. Gananadmu, Registrar, NIPER Hyderabad. Now, I would like to request Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to please felicitate our chief guest, Shri Avnish Chawla ji and Dr. Satyanarayan Chawla ji with their token of appreciation. Dr. Satyanarayan Chawla ji and declare the 11th convocation open.
I declare the convocation open.
Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to present the annual report of NIPER Hyderabad.
On this auspicious occasion of 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. On this very auspicious day, I welcome you all again at NIPER Hyderabad. Sir, with the kind support, guidance, encouragement, and from the Department of Pharmaceutical, NIPER Hyderabad has been making, and I am happy to share that the institute is ranked 1 in 2023. In past 1 year, मैं पुनः आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
I would like to invite Dr. Satyanarayan Chawla ji, Chairman, Board of Governors, NIPER Hyderabad.
Journey of a student, the biggest day is when they join the course, when they receive the degree in the convocation. I will also help the nation in a big way. And at this juncture, I wish all of you a great future ahead of you and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Director, NIPER Hyderabad, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir to please administer exhortation for the event.
I call upon you to administer the exhortation to the recipients.
Thank you, sir. Neglect of prosperity. Let there be no neglect of learning and teaching. Should be given with modesty and should be given with sympathy. You shall take all this as the guiding philosophy of your life.
I admit you to your respective degrees and I charge you that ever in your thought and action you prove yourself worthy of the honor conferred on you.
Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean NIPER Hyderabad, will present the list of candidates who will be admitted to their degrees in absentia.
Anika Sood, she is receiving her degree in the PhD in the area of pharmacology. Sai Nagajyoti, she is receiving the degree in the area of pharmaceutics. Shiva Nageshwar Gajula, he is receiving his PhD degree in the area of pharmaceutical analysis. And Jiaur Rahman, he is receiving PhD degree in the area of pharmacology. Then I read out the names of the master's students. Harsh Dwivedi, he is receiving the degree in the area of medicinal chemistry. Sulai MR, she is receiving the degree medicinal chemistry area. And Padmashri Naren, she is receiving the degree in the area of pharmacology and toxicology. Harichandra Reddy, so he is receiving the degree in the area of regulatory toxicology. Rachana Yadav, he is receiving the degree in the area of regulatory toxicology. Supriya Behera, she is receiving the degree in the area of regulatory toxicology. And finally, Geni Gacko, he is receiving the degree in the area of natural products.
As the Chairman, Board of Governors, NIPER Hyderabad, I admit the candidates whose names are set out in the list to the respective degrees in absentia.
Medal distribution ceremony, I request today's chief guest, Shri Avnish Chawla ji to confer medal to the meritorious recipients. I also request Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean NIPER Hyderabad to read out the name of the recipients of medals.
In the area of pharmaceutical analysis, Talari Sesikala. Pujita Pinjale, she is receiving her master's degree in pharmacology and toxicology. Miss Momin Alfia, she is receiving the degree in the area of regulatory toxicology. The degree in the area of pharmaceutics. Miss Damare Rutuja in the area of natural products. Miss Kritinga Devi, she is receiving the gold medal in the area of regulatory affairs. Miss Karina Sinha, she is receiving her MTech degree in the pharmaceutical technology process chemistry. Miss Mansi Srivastava, she is receiving her gold medal in pharmaceutical management. Miss Adhav Snehal, she is receiving her gold medal in the area of medical devices.
Today's chief guest, Shri Anish Chawla ji, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, to kindly deliver the convocation address.
And address this distinguished gathering on the occasion of the 11th convocation of NIPER Hyderabad. Many special congratulations to all those who excelled and won the medals. As graduates of NIPER, you are well equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to meet these challenges to the pharmaceutical industry and to the growth of healthcare sector in India as a whole. Thank you, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Professor Srinivas Nanduri, Dean NIPER Hyderabad, to read out the name of the recipients of PhD degree.
Announcing the names of the successful PhD graduates of the year 2023. The first one is Miss Mekal Priyanka Nirapada in the area of medicinal chemistry. Mr. P. Ramulu in the area of medicinal chemistry. Mr. Pawar Gaurav Bhagwan in the area of medicinal chemistry. Miss Omni Ojisvita in the area of medicinal chemistry.
Request Registrar NIPER Hyderabad to call out the name of the recipients of MS, MTech, MBA degree graduate from 2021 to 2023 batch. Now I request Dr. Satyanarayan Chabaji to declare the 11th convocation closed.
I declare the convocation closed.
I request the faculty to get up and face the students. And give them a big hand.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
I am Ganesh. I head marketing for Narwal. It's a great initiative. I have known Vinuta for almost 5 years now. I hope that she would be successful in her venture here. We are also looking at partnering with Vinuta and trying to create some sort of program. So as an organization, as Narwal, we are very happy to be associated with her, and all the best to Vinuta for her future endeavors.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
This is Murli Krishna Gunturu. I'm a principal at Inflexor Ventures. I have known Vinita for the past 15 years now. I know that this has been a long-standing dream for her. She thought about this, conceptualized this about 10 years back, but I'm glad that it's finally coming to fruition today. I wish her all the best on the launch of the funding office. I think funding office is a great initiative by Vinita. Her experience over the last 10 years in the ecosystem, working with various kind of organizations, whether it is funds, incubators, accelerators, and in ecosystem will greatly help entrepreneurs who are budding right now and wanting to do something. I know that she'll be able to guide them very well in terms of compliances, which probably are the least focused activity in early stage ventures. And also it will also help early stage investors in helping them source startups, good startups, and also put in place processes for the startups they have already invested in. I wish her all the best for the initiative.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
Hi, I'm Neerja. I'm Director and Head of Operations for HICIA, one of the oldest IT and ITS industry association of the state. Very happy to be part of this event today, and congratulations to Vinita, who has been a staunch supporter of the product ecosystem in Hyderabad for a very long time. She has been partnering with HICIA for our annual product awards maybe since 2007. So she has been part of the startup ecosystem, the product ecosystem for a very long time, and I wish her best for this new endeavor. Congratulations to Vinuta.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
By Vinita Ralapalli. On this day of housewarming of the funding office, I wish Vinuta Ralapalli a grand success, and we would hope, and I'm not having any hesitation to say, that these meetings and finalize their deals. All the best, Vinuta and the funding office.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Telangana ecosystem that we have here, setting up this startup ecosystem.
What do we do? So, right from inception, startup has all of the techies, they don't understand the compliances or the accounting side of things. They're as scared of it as I'm scared of deep technology. So I totally get it, right? So how do we hold their hand right from incorporation all the way to say their audits? So that is one step. Of course, we are there with them, helping them out with all of their regular compliances, ensuring that there are no major compliance issues. The second thing is the financial analysis and modeling and valuation again. The third part, which is where, that's why when people were asking is funding office investment bank, it was very difficult because it's just one of the things that we are doing. And pitch perfection and negotiation. We are there on the table with them while they are doing their term sheet negotiation. So for incubators, while I was working on this thought process for startups, I have had an opportunity during my time in T-Hub to build this program for incubators. Fund management is the other thing that this was a very recent idea. I've been talking to a lot of incubators and they all have this SISFS funding now. So these are the broad areas in which we are planning to work. So
Focused on tech, right? And they're focused on the product that they're building. Vinita's experience as a chartered accountant with startups over the last 10 years helpful for them. And I'm super confident actually that the funding office, with all those right reasons that you just explained, and also the ecosystem, I'm sure, which is supporting the funding office, I'm super confident that it will scale to greater heights. And I wish and I hope and I say that you will do well with the funding office this time.
I think we need to work with the family offices, the pharmaceutical, mobilize funding from family offices in India. I think that would be, so there's a task for you. So, so let's do it. I think we all need to pitch in, and thanks for calling me.
It's a startup, right? It's going to have ups and downs. It's not going to be a straight path. A lot of the startups that we have need your help. You've got the support of everybody in this room. Say something about
part of it, whatever we are doing together, right? So both of them are amazing individuals in terms of how they have actually built their startup.
I think it's a really very good opportunity for all the startups. So we are a pure IT service company. So basically we work mostly in Pega. It's a BPM product, and we are also working on other low-code, no-code tools over there.
So in this generative AI world, so we basically have put a basic version on ChatGPT. So basically it's your virtual venture capitalist with whom you can practice pitching.
First, I remember the line today, it's like, you'll never get what you want. So it's a one line which I read long time back, because she always wanted this to happen, because we always listened the last two letters whenever we went to investors. So we always wanted these three letters to be there to protect us. So hope this will be a great design, Freddie.
She's been a friend for almost 10 years. And we all know how serious and how encouraging she is all the time. This has been a long cherished dream for her from last 3 years, I think so. And we've been discussing this, and I think this is time for you.
A lot of startup founders would align with the point that they'd love to be surrounded with the people who discuss a lot of ideas and visions and what's happening around in the ecosystem. So Vinita is front seat of such people.
When I started my startup, I had already 25 years of global sales experience. I worked with multinational companies, come with that. But my experience with Vinita, particularly with Vadwani, whatever we have done, it tells us many things which you don't know, because as a founder, we believe in our ideas so much. I really hope many of the people come and share from your experience, learn from your experience, and you can also contribute to their success.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
I've been working with the Hyderabad startup ecosystem for over a decade now. Over the years, I've worked across ecosystem development and investments. And it always concerned me that there was no easier way that investors and startups meet, or startups are more well prepared for an investor meeting, or investors have the right kind of deal source coming to them. And over the last 2 years, I've worked on this idea while I was doing my other roles. I have worked deeply on what are the services that would make it worth a startup's time to work with us, what can make their journey easier end to end. So here we are giving a host of services for an early stage startup, right from their compliances to their audits. We would be doing the entire gamut of compliance mastery, as we call it. And on the second part, which is basically where my expertise lies, is how much does a startup raise, and where do they raise it from, and how long should they look for a runway. These are questions that every startup needs to answer to be able to figure out what is the right capital structure that they should go for. These are the questions that I wanted to give support to my startups here in Hyderabad. That is where the financial wizardry, or the second part, which is advisory bit, comes in. And the third part is actually making these connects. Every investor has his or her own thesis with which they invest. So there's a lot of resentment from the startup side that the investors are not investing in them. But from the investors' side, of course, they are taking money from other LPs and they have their own obligations. So how do we navigate this world, make them speak each other's language in a more comfortable way? That is the endeavor the funding office has started with. Of course, along the way, I have found other opportunities to work with incubators. I've observed that there are a lot of gaps even in the incubators. For example, a lot of tech incubators do not have the bandwidth with respect to supporting their entrepreneurs on the funding side of things. So that is where we will augment, or we will support them in their journey. Any incubator can reach out to us and we can support them to understand their portfolio in more detail, help them reach the right investors. Apart from this, we do complete programs. The investment readiness program is something that we've developed in-house, and we could deliver that to you too. Apart from this, there are a lot of seed funds that are available with various incubators whose management is a challenge in itself, right from sourcing the correct startups or innovators to fund, to finally actually managing the portfolio. So there's again a huge gamut of services that we can support incubators with. Of course, and the third bit is our funds or investors or corporates. A lot of investors have a little bit of a hassle, mainly the early stage investors have some trouble in finding the right kind of deals. So here we are, your sourcing partners. And even with respect to portfolio management, the smaller funds do not have a full-fledged team to do portfolio management, work deeply in. We will, of course, be entirely focused on startups to begin with. So the Hyderabad ecosystem, though we have done some massive strides with respect to how we built the infrastructure, look at the place that I'm currently standing in. T-Hub has been an amazing place for startups. While we are doing extremely well with respect to the infrastructure, very well with respect to the talent pool availability, to some extent even mentorship. With respect to the financial support, whether the startup needs a debt or whether they need equity, the kind of support that they need with respect to how much to raise, where to raise, that is missing in the ecosystem. The kind of unbiased advisory is missing. So that is another piece that we definitely are very keen about.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We have several of the platforms which we start with different products. Say, for example, Neo Health, which is clients to look into the different policies, customize the policies, and take the policy. Obviously, it will help the clients to have a better policy structure. Also, have a claim intimation in the platform. We have a wellness platform inbuilt into the Neo Health.
One page is all about helping salespeople prepare for meetings faster. This is a 4-year-old company. We have a couple of patents in India and US, and the full idea is salespeople usually meet a lot of strangers every day, and they have to prepare for these meetings, back-to-back meetings. So it takes around 30 minutes for preparation of every sales meeting. Our goal is to reduce the 30 minutes to 5 minutes.
The problem we solve is we help folks create content, basically globalize, localize and personalize all their content, including video and audio. So you can reduce the painstaking work of, let's say, taking a long form video It could be a 1-hour webinar, and distilling it down to short form bytes that's consumable across any language and targeting any demographic. So that's how we leverage AI.
Actually, everyone uses a computer across the whole world. People use computers, and the slouching is a really big problem across the whole world. And also, this is the problem I experienced myself during the pandemic. Because of that, I developed a Straighten Up AI, which is a web browser extension which helps people to maintain a healthy posture while using a computer. The program makes the screen slightly blurred, therefore making the user aware to straighten up. It's available for Chromium-based browsers. There is a QR code you can see, and it's available to use. So this is my project. I hope you enjoyed and maybe try this out yourself. I highly recommend this.
Request is a cognitive platform for document intelligence and text analytics. It basically is a platform to monitor, extract, classify, validate and reconcile data from multiple different document sources. And it is a combination of our contextual AI and the power of large language models, which are model centric. So we bring both these models together to make the output more accurate and reliable, taking away the problem of hallucinations. So making it easy for enterprises to consume, adopt our product, because we provide assured guarantee to the results that our models generate, so that there is a possibility of touchless processing where humans do not need to review anything for certain categories of information, while it also provides a flags where human review is required.
Chipweb Technologies is a design company. We provide all design hardware and software design solutions like electronic product design, PCB design, embedded system design, VLSI design services, based solutions, and mobile app development solutions, website development, search engine optimization solutions.
In SecureTech, we are trying to solve a problem wherein we have seen that there are dynamic changes in the cybersecurity industry. Now the bigger question is how to identify all those breaches. The new cyber attacks are happening globally. We at SecureTech are using AI and ML technologies to identify all those events, security events which are happening on a regular basis within your entire IT infrastructure, and using AI and ML technology, we are able to identify all those events within your infrastructure, and this will create an attack and within your infrastructure, and we are able to identify all those attacks, and in a real time we can share these attack as an incident to our customer to automatically respond to those attacks as well. And this AI and ML technology we are using to identify all those hidden parameters within your infrastructure.
It is primarily working on imaging diagnostics for breast cancer grading. For any cancer treatment, especially for breast cancer grading, the CAP report is needed, grading report is needed, which is identifying the severity and abnormality of the breast cancer on pathology images. It is called histology grading. Okay, we are looking around the intake, completed the breast cancer grading part. So within 9 months, really AI is growing well, and a lot of innovations happening, and especially on AI, especially helping in AI safety, public health, public security is improved across the industry, including banking, finance, healthcare. A lot of innovation, AI innovation happened in India. We are creating smarter roads with the help of AI. We are leveraging the power of AI to create smarter road infra management system, road predictive maintenance and analytics through our web app and mobile app. So what you have to do is, you have to simply use our Road Vision mobile app, mount it on a camera, move to point A to B and do the inspection. So usually this inspection used to take around 3 days for 1 kilometer of road with respect to Indian Road Congress, but now we can speed this process and can complete this entire inspection in just 1 day for a 200 kilometer stretch. This will be done with the help of AI. So first you need to mount this app on your mobile and move to point A to B, and then you simply use this, upload the video, and you will get insights, AI generated reports, budget for the governments and entities who are related, digital twins and a lot of AI models coming
such that we can create safer and smarter.
So basically, fake news is a big problem in today's time. So that is one problem that we're actually providing a solution for. Our founder, Mr. Shrey Sharma, he himself is an industry veteran. So he's been working in the Silicon Valley for 6 years. Then in 2019, he came back to India, inspired by the Make in India program, and we started off with Newsera in 2019. In 2022 November, we launched the application. So it's an AI verified news application basically.
The language barriers and celebrating the language diversity, cultural diversity of India. So how it works is, on GeoMeet, which is video conference solution, we are helping a teacher and a student to teach and learn in their native languages.
So we want to be giving this to elderly or maybe the person who is very curious about their health and want to track every time, which will be dipped in the urine. This bottom part will be dipped in the urine. As this is a dry chemistry, when it's come into contact with urine, there will be some color changes, your health issues. If any parameter is going out of range, it will identify and mark as an abnormality. Different lighting conditions are there. Right now I am in a place where it's little yellow. At my home it's little dark. At some other place it will be some other color. And identify it and give the more accurate result to the users.
We are primarily focusing into healthcare, which is covering all three ecosystem, payers, providers, and across the pharmaceutical. How we can enable them in the digitization platform, and what is the way to improve the patient outcome, patient journey. Like for example, with the latest technology, digitization and AI enabled technology, the kind of data volume we are getting from the digitization of the technology, it covering all the audience, genders and everything. So from that perspective, yes, and the ecosystem is growing up and we see there's a huge potential, and the way the government is promoting these, I would say that India will be leading from front on the AI digitization and moving forward, going forward.
In India, if you see, we have a lot of different languages, mother tongue, like we have as Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi. And you know, in India, 90% of people are not good at English in terms of reading, writing and understanding, but 90% of all of the content that are available on the general medium, like, you know, you're reading a newspaper or you're doing web browsing or you're getting a bill or you're reading any document, all are available in English. So we have developed this web browser. So with the help of our web browser, you can read any content in your language. If you are stuck at any particular word, you tap on that word, you will get a visual meaning. So this is the entire concept.
So NetWeb is a 25-year-old company, and we are basically solutions, and we make AI infrastructure solutions. We are into solutions like supercomputing, delivering AI to our customers, starting from the workstation till your high-end supercomputer.
We have built a machine learning model that is trained with more than 86,000 images. On the basis of that, we identify 13 different types of pest, 20 different types of crop disease. So our solution is based on WhatsApp.
At Labs, we are trying to reduce the food wastage at the farmer and the mandi end. So a lot of food comes in, a lot of fruits and vegetables, they come to the mandis, and based on certain parameters, they get graded and sorted, and the remaining produce is either thrown out or it's sold off to at a very low cost. And in the current market situation, what is happening is labor actually sees and observes the fruit visually, and then quality assaying is done based on some parameters. But now this thing introduces a lot of bias, because this is a perspective based analysis, and every person has a different view and perspective of a fruit or vegetable.
So we are building a digital platform to understand documents and extract information out of that. The big problem that corporates and governments deal with is to deal with documents. They get a lot of information in the documents. 60% of the enterprise data lies in the documents, and there is no intelligence on those documents. So what we are building is a platform which can understand these documents and extract meaningful information out of that.
We read, for example, in tuberculosis, we are working on helping clinicians get reports within 30 seconds. What usually would take 3 days for a radiology center to read, come back with the report, will just be done in 30 seconds. So a patient can be treated within, the treatment can start on the same day. So that's how it's reducing the turnaround time to treatment. And by starting the treatment on the same day, what happens is the communicable disease.
Sure. So over the past 2 years, we've been building up the product in public. We've grown from zero to about 8 lakh users all across the world. 195 countries out of 196 countries have tried Never Install. And we've done this without spending $1 of marketing money.
We started our journey in the May 2022 last year, where we have built up a technology to assess the security vulnerabilities of the AI systems, and now we have built up a technology also to solve the security issues across any kind of a model, any kind of applications that you are building.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
AI Technos is a leading IT company with more than 4 years of experience in IT solutions. We are providing artificial intelligence based chatbots which are integrated in more than 100 plus websites in pharmaceutical companies, which help in pharmaceutical companies to get good question and answers for their customers regarding the products and the medicines they are searching. If anyone wants to search the product in the night, well, after 12 noon, then she can search the product through AI chatbot in the websites. It is very helpful for the person, and no need to hire some person to contact the customer through automated system. It is very convenient to the customer also. And we are providing SEO, digital marketing, Facebook ad campaigns, Instagram ad campaigns, Google ad campaigns, and mobile application development services.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are introducing a product name as Vanya. This will be, helping to regenerate the greenery that was, that is being lost for lot of decades on the planet. And we are also, helping farmers to create an extra income on their day-to-day growth, because the conditions of the farmers in India, this is it's not very good. So right now we are helping farmers economically as well by our product. So our product is MRB, which is monitoring, reporting, and very small area of lands in hectares and square feet. So what we do is we get the GPS coordinates from these farmers and feed these GPS coordinates to the satellite. Satellite in turn provide us the data which is used, for calculating the carbon credits. The data that is provided by the satellite is soil organic matter, biomass, wood biomass, and other factors that helps, in generating the carbon credits. So carbon credit, if you don't know it, then the carbon credit is, if you are buying one carbon credit, that is being, I'm giving you an access to exhaust 1 ton of CO2 in your day-to-day activities. So we are generating this carbon credits, and we would be selling this credits to the big companies like Amazon, Intel, C8 Tires, and all, which are consuming a lot of resources of the planet for their business. So they are also in guilt, and they are also doing some CSR activities, NGO activities, which will be the part of this. In this way, we would be selling the carbon credits to them. The percentage of carbon credit that we are selling, the 60% of that amount would go to the farmers, and we would be getting only 40%. In this 40%, we will be covering our costs, that is a satellite cost, plus our profit. So this is the product overall, and this is the way, a step, to help the farmers.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Actually, these are the current product which is in sales stage. So the name of the product is Wren. It can be a mini ICU which we can keep in ambulances or in like B2C. Any customers can use it, doctors can use it for diagnostic purpose, such things. What it actually do is it does 5 things. It measures 5 things. One is respiratory rate. Along with respiratory rate, the BP, body temperature, oxygen levels, and the main thing is it can give ECG signals. You might have seen the heavy instruments measuring ECG in hospitals, but this is a very portable device replacing that thing. And this thing, it has been currently in demand in many ambulances and many leading hospitals in India also. So apart from this device, we are integrating the data collecting from this device through APIs to any softwares. And coming to the AI part in the device, so once the data is collected, so this data is we are sending the data to cloud, and from the cloud we are sending the data to AI model. So from there, using AI model, the diagnostic part has been we are detecting the diagnostic part. Soon in future, it might replace a doctor who is diagnosing ECG reports also. So this is our goal currently.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are August AI. We're based in Bangalore and we started in June of 2022. A couple of us got together. Anirudh is founder and me the co-founder. We wanted to address the doctor-patient gap through an AI engine that we can build because a billion searches happen every day in terms of health searches on Google. These are generic searches and don't give personalized solutions. Relevance is low. You have to go through a couple of websites and it gives you generic information in terms of health. We are very personalized. It's literally doctor in your pocket. You can ask it anything from as rudimentary as a cold or a cough to actually easing your anxiety and understanding in terms of complex issues in health like any of the cancers. We are an application model based on all the foundational models that are built out right now. We've used proprietary LLMs that we have for health. We've built out competition algorithms in the last 1 year to address all health issues to make it as empathetic and sound like a doctor. It's enabled with voice and video. You can upload any voice note. It's the distribution mechanism is WhatsApp. So you simply type in or upload an image of what is happening to you or send a voice note and within a few seconds it responds. So it's 24/7 a doctor in your pocket. Healthcare is very specific to people. Our guardrails are to make it not a doctor but give you understanding and ease of anxiety. The team is going to grow. We are eight people right now. The great thing is we've launched it 3 months back and we've got about 20,000 users, completely organic. It's available in every language in the world. We have users from 116 countries right now. It's a global product at the end of the day. Anyone can use it. We understand and we truly believe that healthcare should be free. And this is free. It's on WhatsApp, easily accessible throughout the world. That's our plans to go, there are close to 8 billion people. We want to reach all 8 billion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To your viewers, please use August. It's called meetaugust.ai. It's on WhatsApp. It's really easy to use. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, Subscribe to my Startup TV.
Our company basically solves the problems of farmer for identification of crop disease as well as pest. So we have built a machine learning model that is trained with more than 86,000 images. On the basis of that, we identify 13 different types of pest, 20 different types of crop disease. So our solution is based on WhatsApp. So any farmer can send us image on WhatsApp. We analyze those images, and on the basis of that, we recommend what kind of pesticides, natural or biological treatment they can use in their field. And our services are completely free of cost for the farmers. Further, we are we are building an ecosystem for the agri tech companies as well as universities, government partners, in which we are signing MOUs with the different agricultural universities as well as bringing pesticides, fertilizer companies at one place, where we are also providing drone spraying services, where we bring different drone owners to our platform, and they can provide their services to the farmer for pesticides spray. Further, we are building an insurance model where different insurance companies can get a correct estimation of the quantification of what is the damage in the crop field in the farmer on the basis of the machine learning as well as supplemented with the satellite imagery. So this is what we do in our company, Bhumi AI Solutions Private Limited. So we have a multinational team. Our team members is from USA.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are a company based out of Bombay, and we've been active since the last 7 years. We are primarily a research and development team, and we've been focusing on multiple domains in AI across the landscape since the last couple of years. The company has been active since the last 7 years, and we've been actively researching since the last 4 or 5 years, doing foundational research in most domains. We are a research team. We have been working across the board. And what we identified is that in the defense sector especially, there is a huge dearth of reliable, sustainable AI technologies that we can use and deploy on field practically. So using that as our compass, we've been developing a lot of technologies which are computer vision based and even NLP and audio based to work with our defense arms, our armed forces, our intelligence forces, however they need to deploy. So it's quite a huge problem, and the great thing is that our country has opened up the doors, and they're very accepting in the last couple of years of startups, right, which has made it easier for us to approach officials, government officials and people from the armed forces and present them with solutions and ideas on how they can be using AI. One of the first things that we solved was with respect to recognizing faces of people even when they are wearing a mask. This had obviously been quite a problem during the stone pelting phase in Kashmir, and it's still a problem because a lot of India has a huge insurgency problem that has, while it has been contained, but it still exists. So along with that, we built a lot of other image and video processing tools that allow us to build a camera security system, a comprehensive system that can work in the field for bases and for intelligence forces and even for investigative procedures actually. And this can all be run locally without the use of APIs that are on the internet or from large service providers. I think it's fair enough to say that in today's day everyone is looking at generative AI, and we are obviously not far from it, right? We are looking at generative AI and how it can be used in multiple fields. There are certain things that we are doing in the defense sector right now and experimenting on how generative AI can be used. Aside from that, we have been exploring on natural language processing and fake news detection actually. So that's another huge area which I think we all need to be focusing on, because dissemination of misinformation is very rampant. In terms of policies, I think the country is already moving in many right directions, but I think there are two phases that we should always focus on. One is in AI ethics and security, data security and data privacy. I think that's a very important issue which sometimes gets underserved, and the people in the AI and the people in the know what we can and cannot do with the data. So it's really scary for us. And the other part where I really think that the country should be looking at especially is generating our own indigenous data. We are a huge massive population, but the amount of indigenous data that we have, based on which we can enable startups to create their own models, is very limited compared to the West or even China for that matter. So that is one place where we are sorely lacking. Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you guys.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
At Intello Labs, we are trying to reduce the food wastage at the farmer and the mandi end. So a lot of food comes in, a lot of fruits and vegetables, they come to the mandis, and based on certain parameters, they get graded and sorted. And the remaining produce is either thrown out, or it's sold off to at a very low cost. And in the current market situation, what is happening is uh, labor actually sees and observes the fruit visually, and then quality assaying is done based on some parameters. But now this thing introduces a lot of bias, because this is a perspective-based analysis, and every person has a different view and perspective of a fruit or vegetable. So what we do is we have introduced AI-based quality assaying using a set of cameras and adding intelligence to the entire hardware. And we are trying to achieve a high throughput and quality and precision of entire grading. We have also added a layer of standard parameters which can be similar across several mandis and wholesalers, retailers, etc. How we have generalized this entire concept is by using state-of-the-art AI models, large language models, stable diffusion models to generate data. And yes, as I'm speaking about the reduction of food wastage as well, so the same thing happens at our factory, where we also do a couple of testing with a lot of material. So after the incorporation of this new technology, stable diffusion, we are able to create synthetically data for training our models, and that's how we have grown and sustained in this industry.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Chipweb Technologies is a design company. We provide all design hardware and software design solutions like electronic product design, PCB design, embedded system design, VLSI design services, and IoT services, 3D enclosure design, artificial intelligence based solutions, and mobile app development solutions, website development, search engine optimization solutions. Like that, we provide services. We are based out of Mohali, Ambala and Karnal, Haryana and Punjab.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
In SecureTech, we are trying to solve a problem wherein we have seen that there are dynamic changes in the cybersecurity industry. Now the bigger question is how to identify all those breaches. The new cyber attacks are happening globally. We at SecureTech are using AI and ML technologies to identify all those events, security events which are happening on a regular basis within your entire IT infrastructure. And using AI and ML technology, we are able to identify all those events within your infrastructure, and this will create a attacks and within your infrastructure, and we are able to identify all those attacks, and in a real time we can share these attack as an incident to our customer to automatically respond to those attacks as well. And this AI and ML technology we are using to identify all those hidden parameters within your infrastructure. This can which can be a hindrance to identify all those breaches within your infrastructure.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
Invenix is a UK founded company with offices in London, India, and Canada. So we are a tech focused company, both into products and solution. We have recently, like yesterday, we launched an app for the Indian market called Apna AI. So this is an app which is trying to solve the problem of bringing AI to the end user, to the last mile of users, right from the urban users to the people in the rural areas. So the problem that we're trying to solve is at this today's world where AI is rapidly kind of evolving and kind of becoming like the superpower, we feel that the common people of India may be left behind, or it may be too late for them to get used to AI before AI can start coming in the way of their jobs or things like that. So I think it's the right time for them to feel empowered to use AI so that they can be ready for the future workforce. So with this in mind, we are trying to solve this problem where we want to create an app, a multilingual app for India, where they can easily use AI, not really bothering about the complexities of how to use it, but using it for both for the fun element, but also for some specific use cases like legal or like looking for funding opportunities from the government and things like that. So with that in mind, we have launched an app. It's a mobile app available on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store, which anyone can download. And this app is now available in 4 languages: English, Hindi, Bengali, and Marathi, and more languages to come soon.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are a data centric AI company, and what I mean by that, that a lot of companies which are trying to build AI usually struggle with the training data sets. That how do you make the AI accurate? How do you make sure that the AI complies with ethical requirements and the responsible AI requirements? So that is where the data which is being used to train the AI model plays a very vital role. We as a company has been helping the AI teams to collect these data sets. We also provide a platform where the data can be anonymized to take care of the privacy concerns and the sensitive information which needs to be protected. And it also comes with a programmatic data labeling platform which can be used to keep the whole AI training process much more efficient and scalable to support some of the largest problems that needs to be solved with AI. So that's what we have been doing for AI teams globally.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are working towards AI for all, where every domain area we are implementing AI, we are integrating AI without writing even a single line of code. That is a problem we are solving, because in this particular world of artificial intelligence, most of the innovations are happening with the programming language in the background, whether it is Python programming, whether it is C programming, whether it is XYZ programming language. So people are working, writing codes and developing the solutions. But what about other domain area students or professionals, like people from agriculture, people from pharmaceutical sciences, people from management, people from marketing, people from law, people from commerce and basic sciences? These are the people who are forming the chunk of our education system, but they are left out from the AI stream altogether. So let us help them out. Mystic Mind is working very hard to integrate AI in their domain area with very specific inputs without writing even a single line of code. They can implement the complete AI project and they can solve their problems themselves without depending on any IT professional to help them out with the data insights. They can do it themselves. That is where Mystic Mind come into picture. So here we have various modules available, like we do have workshops, hands-on workshops, where they will be working on their domain area, their use cases, their data set, their success. Similarly, they can go for 1 to 6 months of internship and 6 months of online certificate course.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
It is primarily working on imaging diagnostics for breast cancer grading. For any cancer treatment, especially for breast cancer grading, the CAP report is needed, grading report is needed, which is identifying the severity and abnormality of the breast cancer on pathology images. It is called histology grading. Our system automates entire cancer grading, the pathology automation workflow, which include multiple biomarkers. So we get the digital biopsy slides from the hospital, which will need to be digitized using our AI pipeline. Our system identifies the abnormalities and everything, and it gives the CAP report, which is reducing the time frame of right now it is 5 to 7 days. It is reducing to 45 minutes. That's the automation kind of automation we work on. It is a B2B platform, which helps hospitals and labs, cancer hospitals, pathology labs, cost and time. So this is our system.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
Duke is basically a IoT based company, right? So we are a software as a service. So we are working in real time location services called RTLS. So we have diversified customers, right? So we work for operational efficiency. The problem that the companies are facing as of today is when it comes to operation is lack of visibility, as well as what do you call, right? So there is lack of visibility, there is lack of productivity, which owing to that, because you don't have insights on where your key assets are. So we are tackling this problem by providing you a solution where you can get track of all your assets on real-time basis. Your assets can be your people, your heavy equipment machinery, your vehicles, or any of high asset value, right? So what we are doing is we are catering to all the industries. So we have been working closely with various FMCG companies, automobile companies, as well as oil and gas sector. So our co-founding team comes from a diverse background. They are all basically from oil and gas, as well as working in some other organizations as well. So we are, as a market, we are targeting targeting India as well as Middle East as of today. So we have already expanded to Middle East. When it comes to market capturing and market, so the market in terms of where in the space which we deal in is growing at a pace of $4 billion CAGR by 2025. So we want to you want to become a go-to place when it comes to your operational efficiency. So we are forming digital transformation in that module, right? So now coming to what we are expecting out of the government and our future. So we are building we look at making more digitalization efforts when it comes to your operations, because you have your finance, you have HR and different domains which are covered under your digitalization. But when it comes to operations, there is some lag. So we want to target that and bring digitalization when it comes to your operational, increasing your efficiency. We expect that more and more initiatives by the government will be taken towards digitalization of say government sector, as well as the private sector will follow the suit. So this is what we project and plan to become a global leader as well as market leader, especially in India, when it comes to your operational efficiency and digital transformation on your operation side. Yeah. Our company started off in 2016, so we are around say 7 to 8 years old, and I can proudly say that we have at least created a niche in the market. So doing what we do, we have created very close partnerships with one of the top-notch companies, be it Cisco, be it Microsoft, be it HP, you name it, and we have a good partnerships with them. So we have become ISVs for all these companies, and they vouch for us. So this is how we have created a mark for ourselves when it comes to being a startup only. We have created a mark for ourselves, and we have built what we are today. Thank you. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We started in 2019 at the dawn of post the transformer revolution that created GPT, and we are based primarily in Chennai. We are a small team, and we have some folks in Bangalore. And the problem we solve is we help folks create content, basically globalize, localize, and personalize all their content, including video and audio. So you can take reduce the painstaking work of, let's say, taking a long form video. It could be a 1-hour webinar, and distilling it down to short form bites that's consumable across any language and targeting any demographic. So that's how we leverage AI to do that. 12 years, we are growing rapidly, so we intend to double our team in the next year. But we are kind of small, so we are a bootstrap company. We have not taken any external investment. We are growing through our own revenues. And so we expect to double our team next year. In terms of policy making, we are just observing. We are passive observers. AI is going to be the AI transformation is going to be the most definitive transformation of our lifetime. So we have to be incredibly careful with AI and the benefits and risks it poses. In terms of policy making, I think that general safeguards around we are all in agreement that the technology, let's say we are doing dubbing on our platform, that can be misused. That can be used to create fake information out there, like disinformation out there. And so general guidance on safeguards around that, I think is beneficial to every player in the industry. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are based out of Bangalore, and we started Never Install about 2.5 years back. The core problem that we wanted to solve was of computing as a utility. So what we are doing is we are reinventing computing in the way that today people pay for their internet or phone bills. We want computing to be a utility where you just pay for the computing usage that you have. And as part of building that, what we are doing is we are putting your entire computer in your browser, and not only are we doing that, and we are making it a lot more intelligent. So operating systems have been sort of isolated sandboxes where applications just do things by themselves. What we are trying to do with our AI Copilot is specifically build the intelligence into the operating system. So imagine something like Windows Copilot, but 100x better, works across every operating system, be it Windows, Android, Linux, and it exists just inside the layer without intruding your workflows, but also assisting in every particular application. So the application developer doesn't need to build the AI capability because our system comes with it. So even if you build any application that is not AI first, just by that software running in our system, it will have the AI capabilities integrated. Over the past 2 years, we've been building out the product in public. We've grown from 0 to about 8 lakh users all across the world. 195 countries out of 196 countries have tried, never installed. And we've done this without spending a dollar of marketing money. The next 12 months for us is more about actually doubling down the thesis and the product that we've been building. It's more about getting business customers. It's about expanding to a couple of other geographies, specifically Latin America, Middle East. And in terms of policy, what we are doing on the AI side is coming up with very specific use case persona based features which would help more marginal people leverage the value from our platform, specifically students in their engineering who are taking engineering courses or say using any hardware intensive applications. So we are doubling down on that, be it design students or say software engineering students. So that will be a lot more in the next 12 months. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are in the business of securing the AI systems of the world. Everyone in the world is using the AI systems, and one of the critical issues is that how safe and secure they are. We are solving this problem, which is going to be the billion-dollar problem going forward. As the AI becomes a trillion-dollar economy, the $1 billion will be spent on securing these AI systems, and this is the problem that we are solving. We started our journey in the May 2022 last year, where we have built up a technology to assess the security vulnerabilities of the AI systems, and now we have built up a technology also to solve the security issues across any kind of a model, any kind of applications that you are building. For an example, if you are building a computer vision based applications which is to detect a pedestrian or detect an asset, how it can be secured in runtime. That's what we do. And that means that if you are going also for the Gen AI applications, we also identify the security issues and safeguard the generative AI applications. So basically we build a guardrail and firewall which is there. And to enable this particular technology, we also use the AI in the backend. So it's an AI assisted security assessment of the AI model. And this is essentially a way that we solve this big problem. Now going forward, as we see that across the world that the AI regulations are coming, and every country is mandating how to have the safe, secure and trustworthy AI. And what we do is that we provide the tools and a means for organizations to ensure that their AI systems are secure. That's what we do. I have a 25-member engineering team, all are based in India, and we have 40+ patents which are there. So the solution which we have made is made in India for the world, and I have 40+ customers across the globe who are using it. That's about the AI Shield. That's a great question. So in the next 12 months, we are going to double down on our growth in terms of customer acquisitions as well. And when we do this customer acquisitions, we will also have to ramp up our team. So we are looking for the talented young Indian engineers who wants to really make a dent in the world, that how we can secure the AI systems, because this is going to be the very big problem, and India has a great talent in the cybersecurity and AI, and this will be the great intersections that we are looking. And then essentially going forward, when all the countries including the OECDs, G7 and G20, when they have talked about that the AI regulations and security aspects, we were at the forefront throughout this particular journey, where we have helped the organizations and countries across the world to lay down this policy framework of security of AI. And now going forward, we will see that the fruits where it is mandated, and then our technology is really put into the hands of organization to enforce this particular policies, and also have that faith and trust from the customers who wants to adopt the AI. And this 12 months is going to be a very exciting journey, and it's going to be the inflection point for all of us. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
India has a huge leaky bucket problem when it comes to women's participation in the workforce. While 50% of Indian graduates are women, their numbers dwindle dramatically as women rise up in their respective careers. So there is a need for organizations to pay more attention to ensure women continue to work. So retention is a focus. And how Sama solves for this is by coming into the space with a data-driven, AI-enabled workforce, where we help organizations figure out why women are dropping off from the workforce and then help them plug those gaps. If you look at just like the opportunity, we are actually catering to 50% of the country's population. A report by UN says that India's economy will triple by 2030 if only we are able to fix the gender gap in the workforce, and that's exactly what we are trying to do. So given that we are just a year into, we see the next year to be the most exciting part of our work. We are looking at investing heavily in machine learning and AI to really build a more robust model that removes any kind of bias when we are having conversations about women in the workforce. So we're going to invest heavily in technology and product, and we have our product roadmap ready for the next year. We are also hoping to build a diverse and inclusive team ourselves, with about onboarding 10 to 12 members in the coming year. I feel like that the government of India and overall there have been many more conversations around women in the workforce now. There is actually so much more that needs to be done in terms of policy enablement, and if there could be, and I'm not sure whether if this problem could be solved by a quota, but basically some sort of a policy that puts in equal weightage on women's participation in the workforce and making organizations in some way responsible for having more women. The BRSR data, which top 1,000 companies have to currently declare, helps a little bit because you have to talk about the gender ratio in the organization, but this scope needs to be expanded to all organizations and not just the 1,000 companies that have. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
One page is all about helping salespeople prepare for meetings faster. This is a 4-year-old company. We have a couple of patents in India and US, and the full idea is salespeople usually meet a lot of strangers every day, and they have to prepare for these meetings, back-to-back meetings. So it takes around 30 minutes for preparation of every sales meeting. Our goal is to reduce the 30 minutes to 5 minutes. A simple meeting starts with getting into LinkedIn profile, then opening your email, searching for that person, opening CRM, searching for that person. It takes around 30 minutes, and most of the times you get distracted by notifications or a new mail or something else. Our goal is to reduce that clutter, get you a one-page summary of everything that you should need for every meeting. So it gives you all the recent emails with that person, a conversation starters like what to say, what not to say about this person, and then how can you get you the data that is relevant to build ice-breaking situations. How can I tell you, people buy from people. Technically people buy from people, not from companies. How well you connect with that person relates to the business. That's what we help them build a better rapport with relevant data right in their fingertips. And this is a 4-year-old company, as I told you. The whole goal of our product currently is to get into organizations where consistently we want to prep them for every meetings. We have 3,500 companies using our product all across the world. quite a good amount of companies come from US and Latin America and India at the moment. Going forward, our AI actually generates these insights. Our AI generates these insights for what to say, what not to say, what is this kind of person. So for example, is this person a straightforward person? You would like to tell him not stories, but get to the point faster. If this person is a decisive guy, you should be able to get the financial part of it out quickly and then get to the business. So our goal is to give you that information through our AI so that you have better insights for every meeting. We plan to grow with a new enterprise product that we are launching. We would like to get into an organization and build an AI model within that organization based on the systems and data that they have. So for example, very recently we worked with a company which does financial inclusions. So for example, how much of person this company has given to us? When is the next renewal? You don't have to open another application or another tab for this, but they should be able to do it right inside the application. That's a one-page summary that we do for every meeting. We work with the data that is already out there, not the data that we can generate out of the blue. So in the responsible AI situation that we are talking about, we don't go beyond what is there in the public domain. So we don't go to your Facebook profile and see whether you have a cat or not. Our goal is to say, are you a person that I should be able to communicate in a better level with the data that is out there in public. So for example, the generative AI that we are talking about figures out what kind of word choice you use in your LinkedIn profile or any other profiles to tell you what kind of person you are. That's the generative AI piece that we are working on. So we don't go beyond privacy levels. We don't want to cross any privacy levels when we are working with other person's data. So that's where we are looking at. So hopefully we'll do a lot more with the generative AI coming stuff. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are showcasing a unique product today. We are discussing multilingual video conference solution based on AI. And with this solution, we are breaking the language barriers and celebrating the language diversity, cultural diversity of India. So how it works is, on GeoMeet, which is video conference solution, we are helping a teacher and a student to teach and learn in their native languages, which means a person speaking in English now can communicate to a student which is learning in Gujarati or Marathi or any of their local languages. And similarly, if the student wants to ask a question in Marathi, it can translate automatically in English to the teacher. So first time we are showcasing a person-to-person multilingual communication over video conference.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
The problem what we are trying to solve is the insurance problem. We are a health and insurtech platform where we are trying to solve the reach of the insurance not just by the retail but also the corporate sector. We have several of the platforms which we start with different products. Say for example, Neo Health, which is the platform for the retail clients to look into the different policies, customize the policies and take the policy. Obviously, it will help the clients to have a better policy structure, also have a claim intimation in the platform. We have a wellness platform inbuilt into the Neo Health. That's for the retail patients, retail clients I would say. But on the other hand, we also have a corporate sector platform such as Mio as well as OSIS. OSIS and Mio, these are the platforms for the corporate to either underwrite a particular policy, get the quotes in the live mode as well as negotiate with the insurers. The Mio is the corporate sales pitch where we will have all the different insurers coming at one platform. The corporate can have their say in which policy they want to have, what kind of a budgeting do they have, what kind of a benefits do they want. All those are incorporated into the Mio sales. Mio is also a platform where you see variety of a sales representative coming at one platform, monitor them, see the notifications, see the leads they have generated, see the progress of the leads. So that is our Mio. we have a platform called as Alfred, which is a claims processing platform. In the claims processing, we do pre-authorization till the end of the entire claim processing, which is either the payment of the claim or the further query and getting the queries resolved. That's our Alfred platform. At the end of the conversation, I would say that the entire platform is built for the insurance and healthcare sector, where we offer full stack offers, starting with the insurance sales, insurance processing, claims modification, product building. Product building, we have a product called as products, which will help you to design a particular product based on your needs for your corporates or your insurers. So that's in general. The problem so far we have addressed is we have managed to have more than 5 lakh claims processed. We have more than 50 lakh proposals verified as well as underwritten through our platforms. That's in general for us. We are present here out of India. Headquartered is based out of Gurgaon, but we are also present in MENA countries as well as Southeast Asia. For the future plans, what we want to do is invest in the talent, as mentioned. We are constantly hiring, especially we have internships starting up to the leadership positions. We keep on hiring from the different institutes. That's one part. We want to invest more into the technical aspect, the data science area. We want to build more and more data scientists. We have more than 50 so far, but down the line we'll have ML engineers, data science, as well as people who can handle a big data, so that if we decide to go for the LLM model building in-house, we should have that capacity. Regionally also, we are trying to expand out of India, so we will be investing in Middle East as well as Southeast Asia. That's our long-term goal. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are a pioneering agriculture generative AI company, and we have been working in developing AI ML solution for Indian agriculture for 4 years. What we are trying to build is something where Indian farmers struggle the most. That's like knowledge gap. We have many agriculture institutes, Vigyan Kendra, and everyone producing huge amount of knowledge, but this knowledge never reaches to the farmer because the farmer has literacy and language barrier and a different type of problem like that. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to solve this problem by bringing AI, which is a multilingual, voice-based, conversational co-pilot for farmers. Now, this co-pilot in our application that we have built, farmer can select a language, click a button, and they can just have a conversation with the whole knowledge base that has been created by all this renowned institute, and can answer directly to the farmer's question in the language they can understand in simplified way. So this is what we are doing and we are building. We have also built our own large language model that is built on very specifically on Indian agriculture practices, and which is bilingual Hindi and English. So we can easily use this large language models to provide the solution for the farmers' questions and their queries. And our plan is to start adding more features, not just the advisories and knowledge. We also want to start integrating live market prices, analytics. For example, farmer can just ask a question like, hey, I have grapes to sell in Nasik Mandi. What was the price yesterday? Or what was the average price in January? Or which month has the base prices? All type of analytics can be also asked as a question in voice through AI, and AI will reply back in the same language in audio format so they can have a conversation. And we want to add more of those things, and we also want to integrate this particular solution into the private organization so we can also start delivering their own knowledge base.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Neuron provides the complete end-to-end platform for generative AI enablement for enterprises. What we do is we solve problem from data curation to data activation to model building and fine-tuning to application inference ending and application in various use cases
like credit co-pilot, equity co-pilot, in generation of automated reports. We also work with a lot of social impact companies in terms of education, in terms of infrastructure development, e-commerce sector. So these are the various sectors we enable large companies for. We are working with all the marquee names in India as well as abroad. One of a very large fashion brand store which has 200 retail outlets in India, what we had created was for their retail partners, we had created a co-pilot which enables them to talk to the clients, process documentation documented into that co-pilot, which the retail outlet sales people and growth people can talk to, learn from that. So intent was to create a homogeneous knowledge base across the retail outlets, having the same kind of growth platform, having the same kind of content that is being talked about with respect to the clients and customers. One of the use cases that we have solved for another company is in terms of credit lending. What we do is we create a knowledge base out of all the repository of client documentation that they have created, and our automated bot, it gives question and answers on the possibility of what is the journey this client should take, what are the various underwriting deviations that might be with respect to the policy, and also what are the mitigations so that the larger amount of loan can be enabled for this SME, consumer loan, or any other enterprise disbursals. Definitely, we are a growth company. We are working with a lot of partners like the Ministry of METI. We are working with NASSCOM. We are official partners of NVIDIA as well. So we have a lot of GPU enablement with us. We are growing with respect to the talent pool. Also, we are currently 25 people. We hope to grow to 100 people by the end of next year. We are also growing our customer base in India across sectors, from financial services, e-commerce, legal and contractual laws, audit policies. So various sectors that we are growing in, and we want to enable large enterprises with faster and resourceful enablement of the AI and services. Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine. All the best.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
So basically, fake news is a big problem in today's time. So that is one problem that we're actually providing a solution for. Our founder, Mr. Shrey Sharma, he himself is an industry veteran. So he's been working in the Silicon Valley for 6 years. Then in 2019, he came back to India, inspired by the Make in India program, and we started off with Newsera in 2019. In 2022 November, we launched the application. So it's an AI verified news application basically. So all the news that gets published on our application is verified by the AI algorithms that we've set. So we've built our own LLM models that do all of these processes. Moving forward with this generation, because the kind of lifestyle we are living, nobody has the time to go through long articles. And we prefer having engaging videos. So that is how, and that is the reason why we've actually built up the application wherein the informative content or the news comes either in the bite-sized information or as video formats. So it's fun, factual, and engaging for the audience. It's a B2C product. It's available on Google Play Store and App Store, so people can download and engage with the news articles. And as a long-term vision, we are trying to combat and contribute basically to the SDG Goal 4 and Goal 16, wherein we are moving forward and looking forward to a news-informed and well-literate society. So the impact that the society has, the kind of impact that general public has with the news information, it gets better, and there's no fake or deep fake news information that they're actually going to adapt.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
So NetWeb is a 25-year-old company, and we are basically solutions, and we make AI infrastructure solutions. We are into solutions like supercomputing, delivering AI to our customers, starting from the workstation till your high-end supercomputer. We also do private cloud and also take to the entire cloud journey basically. So we do the entire gamut of a whole lot of things. Recently, we did a project for Government of India also, which is a Government of India's AI infrastructure, where we do that is particularly India's fastest supercomputer right now, and it is also 75th fastest supercomputer in the world. We delivered this, and a lot of companies, lot of models are getting trained here. I guess government is also going to talk about and seem to see that if they can give it to the startup world also to use. And there are some of the startup I know who are training their model using this infrastructure. So that is there. We as a company, we do have a whole gamut of product, right from a very small workstation to the entire journey of private cloud, or getting the entire infrastructure for AI and other stuff, to a very high-end solution. So we deliver the entire stuff there. Yeah.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
Hi.
We have Mr. Sandeep Lodha with us from NetWeb. Thank you, Mr. Lodha, for your time. Could you please tell My Startup TV about a little bit about your company? What are the problems that you're trying to solve through AI, and a little bit about the solution?
Right. So NetWeb is a 25-year-old company, and we are basically solutions, and we make AI infrastructure solutions. We are into solutions like supercomputing, delivering AI to our customers, starting from the workstation till your high-end supercomputer. We also do private cloud, and also take to the entire cloud journey basically. So we do the entire gamut of a whole lot of things. Recently we did a project for Government of India also, which is a Government of India's AI infrastructure, where we do, that is particularly India's fastest supercomputer right now, and it is also 75th fastest supercomputer in the world. We delivered this, and a lot of companies, lot of models are getting trained here. I guess government is also going to talk about and see that, you know, if they can give it to the startup world also to use. And there are some of the startup I know who are training their model using this infrastructure. So that is there. We as a company, we do have a whole gamut of product, right from a very small workstation to the entire journey of private cloud, or getting the entire infrastructure for AI and other stuff to a very high-end solution. So we deliver the entire stuff there. Yeah.
Would you like to comment on the AI ecosystem, startup ecosystem in general, the opportunities, threat, kind of policies you'd like to see, and especially the talent which works?
Right. So the advantage of AI, we are talking about AI, and AI is actually nothing but, it is going to expand more. It just started. We talk about learning market. Learning market is no more slowing down. I see that accelerating further. After the learning market, we do have the inferencing market, and then there is a lot of requirement which is coming up. There are voice related stuff, there are NLM related stuff, LLM chatbots which are coming up, more intelligent chatbots. The kind of opportunity is also there, and I see a lot of startups picking up those opportunities and trying to come with the products and solutions. There are real life cases and problems which are there, which AI can solve today. And I see some of these startups which have displayed out in this show also. They do have a good product line, and they are trying to address some of them. I'm sure this is growing, and they are going to have a lot of advantages as soon as their application starts working and get more adopted, right? And talent, I guess there's a huge amount of talent out there. A little bit of directions and other stuff we need to finalize as they go, but that shouldn't be a problem. I think eventually they will find their way out.
Thank you, Lodha, for your time. Mr. Lodha, for your time, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Mystartup is world's first visual web browser, visual document reader, and visual dictionary. So what it does differently, it provides you the visual meaning. So the question is why we have built that. In India, if you see, we have a lot of different languages, mother tongue, like we have as Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi. And in India, 90% of people are not good at English in terms of reading, writing, and understanding. But 90% of all of the content that are available on the general medium, like you're reading a newspaper, or you're doing web browsing, or you're getting a bill, or you're reading any document, all are available in English. So we have developed this web browser. So with the help of our web browser, you can read any content in your language. If you are stuck at any particular word, you tap on that word, you will get a visual meaning. So this is the entire concept. Also, we are providing an AI-based ad network that helps all the publisher or content creator or app developer to monetize their space and earn extra money. I'm very excited about this AI opportunity that I'm right now over here, because in India, AI community is growing, and with the help of AI, we can solve a lot of things. We can solve a lot of the problem of edtech, healthcare, agriculture. So I think over the time, India will really become a thriving economy and ecosystem with this opportunity that is being created in AI.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
MSense is providing automated quality inspection in manufacturing using its AI-powered digital eyes and digital ears. If you really want to correlate with how it goes with human beings, right? So whatever humans are able to do the inspection by using their eyes, that's what we can automate using our digital eyes. And digital ears is more for inspection by listening to sound. So whatever humans are using their ears for doing any quality inspection by listening to sound, we can actually do that automation. Right now we are very much focused on the automotive manufacturing. We have inspected more than 10 million vehicles with zero outflows from our inspection stations. We have been winners of innovation challenges from Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki, Renault, Nissan, and in fact our product was adjudged as a best quality solution award by Honda two-wheelers. Right? We are very unique in terms of providing our digital ES product. Nobody is there having the production ready deployments by doing inspection using sound. We started MSense in 2018 with the motive of really enabling the manufacturing sector to strengthen their quality, having a very comprehensive inspection solution. If you really look at the overall inspection market, it is growing at 8% per annum, and it is expected to be $27 billion market globally. So that's how. So we are three founders, myself, Shiv Shankar, Surekha Gupta, who takes care of our business development as a CBO, and Vipin Agrawal, who is our CTO. He is based out of California. See, as of today, we are bootstrapped. We started, as I said, we are 5 years old company. We are bootstrapped. We are surviving on the revenues. But yes, we do have plans to grow in India and also go across India. We are looking at US and Japan market. Maybe in another 2 years time, we want to go global and be profitable in 25-26 financial year. Yeah, thank you. If you would like to, yeah, thanks.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are based out of Gurgaon, and we is a startup, 7-year startup, and like we have grown from like very small ideation to up to 350 recently, and we are primarily focusing into healthcare, which is covering all three ecosystem, payers, providers, and across the pharmaceutical. How we can enable them in the digitization platform, and what is the way to improve the patient outcome, patient journey. Like for example, with the latest technology, digitization and AI-enabled technology, how the ecosystem, the patient journey can be enabled. Like on the disease management program, there are a lot of disease management programs are there. How we can engage the audience, how we can improve their performance, and for a particular provider, how we improve their efficiencies. Like using AI-enabled technology, which will nudge the automated ways to different segment of patients. Like if I will say example. I'm a diabetic patient and I want to cover like the entire journey. We will nudge them or we'll send a reminder or ways that you have something which is planned, scheduled. You can visit this and how was your journey and all those point of it. So it's like a combination of AI plus data, which is we have getting from all the hospitals or all the different providers.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.
We are Cure.ai, and it's a 7-year-old startup looking at solving the problem of radiologists, shortage of radiologists across the world. And we read, for example, in tuberculosis, we are working on helping clinicians get reports within 30 seconds. What usually would take 3 days for a radiology center to read, come back with the report, will just be done in 30 seconds. So a patient can be treated within, the treatment can start on the same day. So that's how it's reducing the turnaround time to treatment. And by starting the treatment on the same day, what happens is the communicable disease such as TB is not spread in the community. The person going back will be aware that they have tuberculosis, and they'll come back and they'll start their treatment, they'll isolate themselves. And similarly, we are also working on lung health, stroke, fractures, other areas, and we are expanding. The aim is to basically make healthcare accessible and affordable across the world. We are already present in 85 plus countries, and we are trained on a huge data set on 1 billion plus images. So the future is headed towards complementing what clinicians are doing. There's a lot of workload on them already. So this is to assist them and make healthcare more easy, affordable across the world. A lot of policies being formed across the world right now, and there are some countries that do have some regulations, and while others don't. I will just say at this point of time that it's not something to be afraid of, but to have more set rules, security concerns around it, in terms of policy solved, and I think from there it can move in a positive direction. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are the cybersecurity company, like we are a cybersecurity startup working in the web application and API security domain. So the problem statement that we are trying to solve here is like we have seen there is a lot of digitalization is going on everywhere, and all the companies are now migrating it from the on-prem version to the cloud. So the risk associated to those applications and APIs are also increasing. And we have seen so many cyber attacks are happening on a day-to-day basis. There are multiple frauds are happening, and the hackers are able to exploit those applications and APIs in a very easy format. So if anyone wants to enter in your organization, the applications and the APIs are always the first point of contact for them, same like the hacker or same for the users. So they can sit anywhere in the world, they can come to your application from the website, and whatever the security loopholes that they can find inside them, they can able to exploit. And we are getting like so many updates about these kind of security flaws on a day-to-day basis, which we need to update on a regular aspect in order to keep ourselves more secure from the latest cyber attacks. So this is a challenge that we have identified in the existing solutions which are there in the market. First of all, there is no Make in India product in this segment. We have been competing with the companies coming from US and Israel, and they are mainly focusing on the detection side. So they don't have anything when it comes to the fixing of those security flaws which we have identified in those applications and APIs. So what we are trying to solve here is like we have created our own Make in India indigenous homegrown solution with the name ThreadSpy, and we call it as a developer first AppSec management platform. So the focus is only to the developers, and we wanted to see like how the developers identify, like it need to be go to the developers because they are the only ones who will going to find and fix the vulnerabilities. And in those applications and APIs in a proactive manner, we give all those loopholes to the organizations through the dashboards, and it is easily been available to the developers on that side. So once these loopholes are being identified, then we are prioritizing them on the reachability framework, which is one step further to the CVSS, and then we help the teams to fix those particular flaws automatically. So now the product can get easily integrated to your CI/CD pipeline, and the security need to be implemented by the design, and this is the focus where we are coming with this product, and we are implementing it throughout the design itself. So you don't need to wait for the product to go in the production environment and then it will going to fix the vulnerability, because the cost is always high, and in the same scenario your users will going to affect if there is any kind of a downtime associated to your application. So what we do in that scenario is like we integrate our application or product directly to your pipelines, and that way you can scan them whenever you are changing anything inside the code, and we will be able to fix those flaws in a proactive manner.
So this is the complete the homegrown solution, and we are trying to solve this problem in a more robust way. So we are well being recognized by the IIT Kanpur, the National COE, the Data Security Council of India, and the MIT, and they are being helping us in positioning our product to the global market, and we are being able to do it. And so the thing that we are trying to come up in the upcoming months is like we will be adding some more capability to our product, and that's where we will be increasing its robustness and trying to the vision is to make ourselves a global leader in this domain, not only serve the Indian customers, but also we can serve the customers who are coming all over the globe. And so far we were able to grab like a good amount of customers on the various segments, like from the government, fintechs, edtechs, not from India and even from out of India, so from the different set of LAC countries and from European countries. And this is where we were able to make the change and show the teams like this is something very unique in the approach in identification, and same goes for the fixing of the vulnerabilities. Yeah. So this is all about us. Like if you want to try our product, you can come to our website www.secureorg.com. You can sign up there and you can get a 14 days of a free trial to explore this product and give it a try to your organization and see how it can help you to minimize the gaps in a more proactive way and more faster than what you have seen in the existing solutions. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
So we are an instant diagnosis test kit, which can be done anywhere, anytime with your smartphones. So we want to be giving this to elderly or maybe the person who is very curious about their health and want to track every time. So it will help and identify early diseases which might affect some serious issues like UTI, maternity health, early pregnancy, and miscarriage, etc. So in this product, there is a dipstick like this, which will be dipped in the urine. This bottom part will be dipped in the urine. As this is a dry chemistry, when it's come into contact with urine, there will be some color changes in these pads, and based on these color changes, there will be different biomarkers values. These different biomarker values will be defining your health issues. If any parameter is going out of range, it will identify and mark as abnormalities. We are using AI to just generalize everything, every environmental condition, every phone. So different phone has different sensors, different lighting conditions are there. Right now I am in a place where it's little yellow. At my home it's little dark. At some other place it will be some other color. So we use AI technology to transform all the images to in a uniform and generalized way, where we can use these colors and identify it and give the more accurate result to the users.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
So good evening everyone. I'm Rajesh. Thank you so much for joining in. Very warm welcome. I'm super excited at the same time, very thrilled and nervous as well while I was talking to some of my friends what this particular session is going to be, right? So while I was discussing with some of the board members for ITTL, right, they have kind of conceptualized this entire session to be slightly unique. I would say one of its kind, which we've never done it in the past. Many a times when we talk about bridging the gap between industry and academia, right, we would come up with a lot of research insights where we would have industry experts or a stalwart who would talk about it, or we will have some experts from the academia part of it. They would share their expertise or they would share their challenges, right? Or we would also look at an open house kind of a thing where we would hear every individual perspective. But at the end of it, there is no strong key takeaway. Okay, in this session, next 45 minutes to an hour, we wanted to make it very, very exciting. At the same time, very insightful, meaningful, and we would like to take away some good insights out of this. So every time, you know, when we talk about people who are there in the campus space, right, when I was talking to Ashish as well, many of us have spent about a decade and a half in the campus landscape, done significant impact in terms of recruiting talent, attracting talent, engaging with them, and eventually adding up to the overall economic growth of an organization. Even the educational institute have played a very significant role when it comes to adding up, giving great amount of talent and ensuring what needs to be done. But if we largely look at it at a macro level, when we talk about bridging the gap between industry and academia, there is no significant change which we have created, and you know, including industry and academia front, right? To give kind of an analogy to that, right? If you look at the industry 1 to industry 5.2, the business world has kind of seen a significant transformation over the years, right? I mean, from the industry 1.2, where it started from mechanization, the industry 2.0 was about electrification, industry 3.0 was about automation, and industry 4.0, it started in 2010, was largely into digitization. And in less than 10 years, right, if you look at the industry 1.0 to 2.0, it took about 100 years. From 2.0 to 3.0, it approximately took about 90 years. From the second one to the third one, it was less than 50 years. From 4.0 to 5, we are just taking about 10 years. And the industry 5.0 is all about humanization and personalization. So why this particular context is very important is the world is changing at a very rapid pace, and it becomes very difficult and it becomes extremely challenging for us to keep up the pace at which the technology is changing, the world is changing, the world is going through a lot of innovation, the world is going through a lot of disruption. So it's important as an industry experts and an academia to understand what is kind of missing and how do we embrace this. So every time when we think about implementing certain things, the dynamics would change. And as an individuals, when we have spent about a decade, 2 decades, and some of them who have spent enormous amount of time, right, who have set up the center of excellence, you know, did a lot of things, whatever they could do at their capacity. Now, this particular session, what we would do is, we in the arrangement, the way it is being done is, we have some bit of industry experts in each table, and we also have academicians as well, where we want you to ideate some of the key ones. It can be 1 or 2. We will not go all over the place. Each teams, we would formulate like a team and would pick up 1 or 2 important topic which you think which is still not been addressed, and how as a team, how do you ideate, conceptualize, and how exactly we could come together to bring it to life, right? Many a times what happens is when we talk about bridging the gap, there are a lot of limitations. When I say limitation, the organization has a limitation. Can we invest on this institute because what's an ROI for us? Or there are institutes which would have that openness to make an impact. They have a limitation in terms of bid NF ranking or having the right capital to make an investment there. So here we would look at a blue ocean strategy kind of an approach where we will take away all the limitations. You will not represent any institute, you will not represent any organization. Collectively, based on your experience and your expertise, what do you think which is missing today? And if academia and industry come together, what is that we can solve? And at the end of it, we would give about 10 minutes for each team. We want you to ideate, and we want one individual from your team to share an idea which we can implement it. It's not a great idea or a $1 billion idea we are looking at, something which is actionable. As soon as some of the academicians go back, they could discuss with the management and see how exactly we could implement. And some of the university recruiting leaders who are out here, we would also hear the perspective from academicians as well. What is some of the key takeaway for us to go back to our business and say that this is something which is very important, or we learned that this is a best practice which is still missing, and which we'll go ahead and implement that. Okay, so with that, I mean, I would just act as a moderator. Thankfully, I'm not in this session, so I would run around and we would enable this, and we would require your full participation and make this entire session very useful. And this whole session would be recorded. As I told you, we will truly create a greater impact out of this session. We will have all the pointers which we will draw. And this particular event is also partnered with the business world, right? Business world people. We wanted to, since we have the industry experts and the academicians from some of the best institutes, right? We will gather key insights, and this will even, we will aim to publish it on the newspaper or the magazines of this, which will go online. Collectively, let's make it as a great success. Yeah. Thank you. So, and very important, now again, bridging the gap between industry and academia is a very, very large topic, right? From a corporate perspective, right? These are 4 things which we currently face as a challenge. One is the competency gap. With technology changing, it's very, very important that how do we ensure that we engage with the universities and ensure that the technology which is evolving is taught at the campus, or skilling, upskilling, reskilling, all of that stuff, right? The competency gap, how do we address that? And the second, the biggest one, I'm sure that all the industry folks would agree, the inclusion and diversity is one of the biggest challenge, right? One is the availability of the pool itself. So every time now, if you look at as an industry as a whole, in India, a lot of leaders are thinking that we should hit 50% gender diversity by 2030, which is a very ambitious target. For that to make it happen, the university recruiting talent plays a very, very pivotal role. In the lateral perspective, there is a very limited scope for us to make that happen. The only way is to happen is to infuse some of the great talent at the early careers. For this thing to happen, we should look at what is the pool available, or the second aspect is if there is a bias, right? And if there is a male student, we will visit only exclusive diversity campus, or we would be slightly lenient to the students who are girls, and eventually we will make that. How do we address this issue, right, in terms of the supply as well as having the bias in terms of the recruiting itself? The third one is the time and resource constraints. While we know certain things exist, but the biggest challenge is, can we invest time? Because at the end of the day, academics have their own agenda to drive in terms of technically the students needs to go through the syllabus, they have their own grading system and all of that. They have a very limited time for them to upskill themselves. From an industry standpoint, their objective is on the revenue side, objective in terms of the product developments and all of that. With the limitations of resource and time, how do we kind of still navigate and address this challenge? Then the communication is a soft challenge, means soft skill aspect of it. This is something which is out there, and again, this is a very light one which can be addressed with all the advent of the online education which is happening, or the MOOC part of it, and there's a lot of avenues to which we could solve. Now, from an academic university standpoint, right, the relevance of the syllabus itself is a big challenge, because majority of it, if we look at Tamil Nadu as a state, right, majority of them are affiliated to Anna University. If we look at Andhra and Telangana, either of them are affiliated to JNTU Kakinada, JNTU Anantapur, JNTU Hyderabad for that matter. In Karnataka, at least about 250 to 350 odd organizations are affiliated to VTU. There is a very limited scope for them to include any new concepts, because that requires a different shift altogether. with that limitation, how an organization can strive and try to incorporate the right technologies which is required from an industry standpoint. The proficiency necessity, which means while the world is going through massive transformation in terms of the cloud, all the new age technologies which is out there, how do you stay embraced with all the technologies which is out there? How do we get the insights of all of this? Limited exposure, industry exposure, and again here this requires two aspects of it. One is whether the organization have an appetite to invest. So there is an operational cost when we talk about industry exposure. Either an industry experts have to come to the academia, or the academic students have to go to our organization. How do we make it that happen is one of the biggest challenge which have to be addressed. And limited resources, right? I mean, any academic institutes have X number of manpower through which they could do very little in 365 days considering their academics as well. So these are some of the broader perspective, not limiting, but we just wanted to give you some insights for you to think through and slightly deeper and an action item on this. Okay, with that I will take a pause. We would request you to, we would give about 10-15 minutes each team to ideate and arrive at a very specific thing what we could address, and we would ask one representative from each team to share their insights. Thank you.
In academics, suppose if you take the faculty members, and even if you look at the CS faculty, the entire India, there is no data science is there, especially many of the top in the world, there is no specialized faculty. So when you come for the hiring, how you can manage the
No, sir, first discuss what is the problem statement, what are you trying to do?
We will go as per our mandate of the business. If the business mandate is not tested, we will also go back to coding. Some institute who have labs inside. Now every institute has an incubation institute. So the institute has come up with this. It's not going to your institute that we tie up here. We generally say that we will go to 100 different temples and we'll pray. Wherever we get prasadam, we'll come and take us. The relationship building is
my perspective. Sorry to say. See, today you are at 1,000. The next year, placement was great, 4,000. This is, of course, when business time, right? Somebody is making revenue, it's good to scale. Now, if you are a company if that scale is happening, scale itself is a problem. But it's very aspiring to nurture that kind of world's largest technology. While that is very required to scale, but how do we address that is also a question mark.
No, so very valid point, I think.
See the problem is take that number of see if you look at only you can take only 50 or you can take only 100. Now VAT is taking 20,000 4,500 companies. While this your point that pricing should evolve, it can be not just building, right? It's about where is the talent to build capability. So
we can't also
yeah, actually now there is one slide which I have. Good old traditional method was only off campus, on campus, or an external partner. Now there are 17 different avenues. Now somebody said that we tied up with Coursera. We could as a solution also. The whole idea is to provide solution. Coursera is there. The NASCOM Future Skills is there. There are external partners who are coming and building skills. Will this solve the problem? This is something maybe we will have to go deeper to understand. Now to your point of that there is no great academicians who can teach the new age technology. Also there.
So you can't demand the company to invest in time.
See, center of excellence is there, but
to stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
I'm super excited at the same time, very thrilled and nervous as well while I was talking to some of my friends. I would run around and we would enable this, and we would require your full participation and make this entire session very useful. From a corporate perspective, right? These are 4 things which we currently face as a challenge. The competency gap. How do we address that? The inclusion and diversity is one of the biggest challenge, right? How do we address this issue, right? In terms of the supply as well as having the bias in terms of the recruiting itself. The third one is the time and resource constraints. With the limitations of resource and time, how do we kind of still navigate and address this challenge? Then the communication is a soft challenge, means soft skill aspect of it. This is something which is out there, and again this is a very light one which can be addressed. Now from an academic university standpoint, right, the relevance of the syllabus with that limitation, how an organization can strive and try to incorporate the right technologies which is required from an industry standpoint. The proficiency necessity, how do you stay embraced with all the technologies which is out there? How do we get the insights of all of this? How do we make it that happen is one of the biggest challenge which have to be addressed. We would request you to, we would give about 10-15 minutes each team to ideate and arrive at a very specific thing what we could address, and we would ask one representative from each team to share their insights. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, gives me immense pleasure and honor to have our first keynote speaker join us on this dais. He has so many feathers in his cap that it would take me a long time to even read them out to you. He's contributed immensely towards the growth of our country's IT sector. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been the head of several Indian and global industry forums such as FICCI, AMCAM, TIE, HISA and IEEE, the chairman of STPI Hyderabad, Chennai and Bangalore. He's been the co-founder of Portal Player, which went on to be acquired by NVIDIA, a company that designed the core chips and software that powered the Apple iPods. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also the co-founder of Talent Sprint, a leading edtech company in India. He's always there to help people with questions and queries. He's an angel investor, a mentor to entrepreneurs and students. And ladies and gentlemen, he's been the Special Chief Secretary, rank of a Cabinet Minister to the Andhra Pradesh government in the Chief Minister's office during the years 2014 to 19, and has advised and assisted the government in bringing in investments, generating employment, and encouraging innovation and startup activities in Andhra Pradesh. He's also associated with the governments of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is here to address us for our inaugural keynote. I would like a big thunderous round of applause for he's taken time out to be here with us, Dr. J.A. Chaudhary.
Thank you, Abhishek, for your gracious introduction. Good morning, captains of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Before I give my Bangalore to Bangalore story, actually I was not in a mood to come for this event, though I agreed a long time ago to Chinmay, because recently my mom passed away and I was in my village conducting all the rituals. But in spite of me being in the village, not able to take a decision to come here, Chinmay from Bangalore, he drove all the way to my village in his own car and came and requested me to come and participate, at least spend some few hours with this event. And while driving back, I saw Chinmay, how he was able to give instructions to his team what to do, how to do, where to do. I was really amazed to see the leadership qualities in Chinmay. Though he is one of my ardent disciples, but I never saw that kind of a leadership qualities in practice. He was driving on the highway and he was giving instructions every 5 minutes. People were calling him and he was telling what to do. And I was amazed to see his leadership qualities. And I want all of you to give a standing ovation to such people at a young age. He's able to do all these things, demonstrating the. Thank you, Chinmay. Since I came to Bangalore, I was not prepared to talk what should I speak. In fact, I was not in a mood to come to the Indian Space Research Organization. I was in the telemetry division where Rohini, Bhaskara satellites, I was developing the telemetry subsystems for the Indian Space Research Organization. That's where I started my journey, tech journey from Bangalore. Then I left that and I went to Department of Electronics, New Delhi, in the policy making body with the Ministry of Information Technology. Those days there was no ministry called Information Technology. It was a part of the Science and Technology Ministry. So there I saw, when I was working in Bangalore ISRO, it was a different environment. When I went to Delhi, Department of Electronics, totally the opposite environment. During the peak license Raj, I was witnessing people like Narayan Murthy, Ajay Premji, all these people, including FC Kohli, they used to come and wait in our corridors of the government, hours together. Sometimes they used to come first day, second day, third day, still they were not able to get the proper appointment with the concerned joint directors for getting their import license or whatever they want to do. That was the peak license Raj. Unfortunately, I was in Department of Electronics those days. In fact, we were instructed not to give an approvals for any import license, and we used to write note sheets, green sheets in the government. Every government they used a lot of green sheets. So we used to write why this cannot be approved. Some dozens of papers we used to fill all the data. Suppose if I give approval, then immediately they will say, no, you got a vested interest, you got some arrangement with that company or individual. So why to take risk? Keep on writing then justification. This cannot be approved. Then my job is done. That's not the mindset of the license Raj officials during that time. And many entrepreneurs from United States, United Kingdom, they used to come. They want to do something in information technology, but they saw that getting the computer import license itself used to take 6 months to 1 year. By the time they get the import license, the technology is changed and all those things are. And in addition to that, there is to be 350% customs duty. So all kind of restrictions. Why we should not do anything in the government or in the industry? That is the mindset. But fortunately, again, Bangalore played an important role. Texas Instruments, those days they wanted to come to India, they had 2-3 other options. Israel was one option, Ireland was an option, then India was also one of the options. They came to Government of India, we want to set up the development center for Texas Instruments operations because you have great manpower from IITs and NITs and all that, we want to set up the development center here. Provided they gave list of the things. We want a single window government clearance mechanism where all the approvals are given across the table or within 24 hours time. There was no internet during that time in India. There used to be only through the satellite technology, through Intelsat, we have to connect to the other world. They said we need a dedicated satellite station on top of our building so that we can get connected to Texas Instruments headquarters. Then how much time I have? Because storytelling takes a lot of time. Already you are late. Thank you. No. So whenever you get bored, you just lift your hand and stop that time. Because this is a story, because we are in the tech capital of India, Bangalore. you should know the story how we made India as the tech capital of the world. So Texas Instruments, they gave the list of the things, internet facilities through satellite technology, satellite earth station, and single window ground mechanism, all those things they gave the list. If you don't provide this, we will go to either Israel or Ireland to set up the development center. That time, fortunately, I think during that time, Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and somehow he said we have to get Texas Instruments to be set up their operations somewhere in India. So these powers were vested with different ministries. There is no information technology ministry. The DOE, some powers were there. Commerce ministry, some powers were there. Then revenue ministry, some powers. Like that, several departments and ministries were involved. They said, no, how can I give my powers to one officer? So we cannot. So with the power of the Prime Minister's office, we were able to create an entity. It was a pilot. It was called Software Technology Parks of India. So that entity was created, and they said it has to be a pilot because we are giving a lot of powers to this one single officer. He may misuse these powers. So we will do it only for Texas Instruments and also observe every month and see how these powers are being used or misused. Then that concept came out of Government of India. Then Texas Instruments, they selected Bangalore. Bangalore being, those days, Bangalore used to be the pensioners' paradise. Because when I was staying in Malleshwaram, 18th class, 8th man, when I was working for ISRO, in our flats, there used to be a building called Mukta building. I don't know if still that is there or not. No provision even for fans. Leave about air conditioners. Even fan, there used to be no provision. That's how Bangalore city was during that time. And because of that, Texas Instruments thought that it's a good city with a lot of greenery and a lot of public sectors are there. Tech talent is there. Indian Institute of Science is there. So all these things, made a decision for them to select a place in Bangalore. Then they selected a place on Miller Road. It's called, I think, some towers. I don't remember. I'm now 69 years old. So in Miller Road, they selected that building, and on the top of the building, they wanted us to set up a satellite earth station. During that time, to bring the satellite earth station equipment from the airport, it was not the present airport, the old airport. There was no provision to bring it in other vehicles. We had to take a bullock cart and put the satellite earth station equipment, bring it to the Miller Road in Bangalore, and set it up on the top of the building, Sona Towers. The building name is Sona Towers. So there was a satellite earth station, and there is a mechanism called Software Technology Parks of India. And in the Department of Electronics, they circulated a questionnaire that whoever is interested in going to Bangalore to head the Software Technology Parks of India, so they can send their request. So all my colleagues in Department of Electronics doing the license Raj, because everybody used to go to their office, right? People used to wait in the corridors of power, whether big industries or anybody for that matter. They don't want to lose that power. So none of them applied, only my application was there, because why I applied, my native place is very close to Bangalore. It's from Bangalore airport, present airport, it's about 1.5 hours drive or 1 hour 45 minutes. I thought nearer to my village is good for me so that I can help my brothers and sisters and all that. That was my interest, not knowing that this is going to bring transformation for India itself and creating so many millions of jobs. Even I was not knowing about it. I never imagined that this can make that kind of a big impact. So I opted. Obviously, they selected me as the founding director of the Software Technology Parks of India. And there was no office here. And there is no entity for STPI here. They attached me to one of the Department of Electronics offices located in Pinia Industrial Estate. It is to be called ETDC, Electronics Testing and Development Center. It is located in Pinia Industrial Estate. And in Miller Road, Texas Instruments, they gave one office for me to sit in that building. So all the powers were given, and from the Prime Minister's office, one IAS officer used to come every month They used to monitor what I am doing, how all the powers are being used and all that. All those things were there. In addition to that, there used to be an IPS officer, senior IPS officer from Intelligence Bureau in our board of STPI. Why? Because there is a satellite station and multinational company, American company is there in Bangalore. They may send any information to the outside world. So it has to be monitored 24/7. We used to monitor what emails are going, what attachments are coming, what attachments are going, and this big room was allocated in the middle of in that Sona Towers for keeping the printouts of those information. Whatever comes, whatever email goes from TI Bangalore to TI US or vice versa, those things have to be taken a printout. And I had some 3 officers around the clock. They have to go and monitor what is happening through the monitoring system. So one day what happened, there used to be some general elections in India, and employees of the Texas Instruments started commenting on some political parties, some politicians who are contesting for elections and all that. In middle of the night, I got a call from one of my officers. Sir, not the technology information going on the satellite, but a lot of political information is going. So this kind of a report he reported. Then I asked him to send an email formal report. When I got the email, I sent it to the Department of what is that? It used to be called. It's headed by IPS officer. What is that name there? Intelligence Bureau. Intelligence Bureau was the department. So I sent it to the Government of India, Intelligence Bureau, and one IPS officer along with several junior IPS officers, about 5 of them. They came all the way from Delhi, and there used to be one Mike Watson, who was the managing director of Texas Instruments in India, in Bangalore. And they grilled him for nearly 1 week. They went through all the papers, they were asking all kind of questions and all that. Finally, they found that no sensitive information was sent through the satellite station, and they went out. That time, my boss was N. Vittal, recently passed away, Nagaraj N. Vittal. He was the Secretary, Department of Electronics. I told him, sir, what is this nonsense? Anybody can send information through fax or through modem. Why this restriction? Just because they are using the satellite station on top of their building. He also realized, yes, this is a flaw in the system. Then he went to the Cabinet Secretary and got his approval, and they removed that restriction. Like that, there are several restrictions were there during that time, during license laws, and in spite of all that, this thing, because they given all the powers to STPI director, I used to give within 24 hours all the import licenses, whatever licenses they want, I was authorized to give all those licenses. So one day, one Mr. Yugandhar, he was with the Prime Minister's office in Delhi. He came as a part of the inspection or monitoring what STPI is doing. Then everything was going good, all the multinational companies. After seeing the success of the Texas Instruments, in the Cunningham Road, Hewlett-Packard came, Digital came, all these MNC companies, they landed in Bangalore because TI got all the benefits, and they don't want to experiment in other cities because all the approval system was there, satellite station was there, so that they can draw the fiber link from the Sona Towers to their respective places. That's how Bangalore became the tech capital of India. So when B.N. Yugandhar, who is the actually father of Satya Nadella, who is the current Microsoft CEO, he was the Prime Minister's office, one of the secretaries. He said, you are a Telugu person and you are not doing anything to your state. Why don't you go to Hyderabad and develop the IT industry? Then I said, told him, sir, there's not even one single IT company in Hyderabad, and there is no STP office in Hyderabad. So how can I go to Hyderabad and develop this IT industry? He said, no, I will talk to your boss and tell I got the approval for setting up the STP office in Hyderabad. When I went to Hyderabad, all the locks and borders used to be there, not even one IT company, so no internet and all that this thing. And it was so difficult to convince any company. All these companies were established in Bangalore, they were not coming because there's no internet, there's no critical mass and all that. So, thanks to Chandrababu Naidu when he became the Chief Minister of combined Andhra Pradesh. I used to meet him every day, 1 hour, whatever was required, I used to tell him and he used to get all those things done. So those rocks and boulders of Hyderabad converted into the IT destination. Today if you go and see Hyderabad, it looks like Manhattan or looks like any other modern city. And all the economy comes from IT industry, not from other industries. So today, entire state of Telangana, the main revenue comes from Hyderabad. Again, because of the IT industry. So this story got expanded to Pune, Gurgaon, wherever there are IT people, wherever there are IT fraternity. That's how India became the knowledge capital of the world. In fact, information technology industry today, it is not the information technology, India technology industry, because all the technologies, you name it, any technology for that matter, there are people available in all the levels. So when Chinmay approached me that this is the kind of conferences he is making in various cities, I said yes, this is required because we are going through the transformation today. Whatever was there earlier when I was studying in IIT Madras, there were no opportunities for students to work in any industry. Either they had to become a bank clerk or a teacher or maybe two organizations like ISRO and BRC. Other than that, there are no job opportunities. And number of colleges are also very less. IITs were itself, I think 4 or 5, and there are no private universities and all that. In spite of that, no jobs. Because of the IT industry, today there are so many private universities, so many private engineering colleges, and millions of people are coming out every month and every year out of these colleges. Still, IT industry is able to absorb them, and all of them are getting benefited. The whole economy got benefited because of the IT industry. But unfortunately, or fortunately, again, we come to the next phase of transformation. Thanks to, or we don't want to thank the generative AI. When I met a lot of CEOs in America recently, they said the generative AI is coming, we are already using, 90% of the workforce can be removed, only 10% can do the core job. Then what will happen to the Indian IT services industry? Unless they transform, they will not be able to retain their job, they will not be able to get a new job. And that's worried me a lot, because I have been through this industry for the last 30 years. I have seen how this industry grown. Suddenly, the same industry, because of the AI tools and all that, the people are going to be laid out. What is India is going to do? India with 1.5 billion people, with the concentration of the population, if you don't have this job creation engine running properly, the unemployed youth, they will kill the prospects of this nation. We don't require other countries like China, Pakistan to destabilize India. So how do we create new jobs? That was my thought process. Then again, the Bangalore to Bangalore story. Though I went to Delhi, then I thought that we should do something to arrest this process. How do we create new jobs? I thought through the startup companies, because startup companies always works in the new technologies, new problems they are going to solve. So why not we create more successful startup companies from India so that they will be able to create new jobs. That was the idea. Then I again came back to the tech capital of India and the startup capital of India, the Bangalore, and we started creating a platform called India Startup Foundation. Through India Startup Foundation, we ran 2 conferences, one in 22 and the last one was in August conference. We had more than 11,000 startups. They applied for the startup pitch competition. Out of that, we selected 20. Unlike many conferences, all the selected companies, every week, there are 250 mentors, global mentors are there. They talk to them, they mentor them, they provide funding to them. For example, last 5-6 weeks, we have been giving opportunities to all the selected companies. All the companies got the funding. In fact, the last company, it is a Singapore-based company promoted by one of the retired IAS officers called Ranjit Sudan. After taking the retirement from the government, he went to World Bank, and he was the head of the IT for developing countries and third world countries. He took world retirement and started a company in Singapore. He was not able to get funding, though he was in Singapore. Then he approached me, then one of the startup mentoring sessions he presented. On the same day, within 1 hour, he got $1 million funding assured, and also some people wanted to give business opportunities also to them. So I thought, whatever the Silicon Valley model of the funding, where only 1 out of 10 startup companies are succeeding. So why not we reverse that model? Why can't we make 9 out of 10 companies to succeed? So for that we need ecosystem. That's what we are now building, and we are very, very thankful to all the mentors, HNIs. A lot of HNIs who came from Hyderabad, they are all from the real estate industry, pharma industry. They never used to invest in startups. I told them, you are going to Tirupati and putting money in Undi. You are thinking that you will get some punyam. I don't know whether you are getting that good karma points. Whereas the same money, you give it to a startup company who are in the early stage. And not only you get 100 times more punyam, 100 times more karma points, plus this money is going to return 10 times with good valuation, he will return the money. So I don't know how they got convinced with that idea. A lot of them, they came. On the first day of the conference itself, 150 term sheets, they all signed for the startup companies who are in the early stage. So why I am telling this story, though it is not possible in countries like America and other places, India may have a lot of wealth. People have got a lot of money. They don't know where to invest. Once we provide an opportunity for them to invest in good startups, not only the startups are going to survive and succeed and create the jobs. So that's what the new job creation engine through the startup companies, through India Startup Foundation, we have started this journey, and I am sure that all of you have to participate in this. It's like a yagnam. That's where I met people like Chinmay, Dinanath, and so many people. Because this is like a fire ritual. This is for the country. If you don't do this, country will go to dogs. This unemployed youth will kill the prospects of the country. So it's everybody's responsibility to create good talent, to help the startups who are in the early stage. Particularly, I want to mention Chitkara University, when they gave me the honorary doctorate recently. When I went there, even a second year student has started a company and they are doing very well. Out of 173 startups which they incubated, 73 startups got good exits. And their model of giving the education, not through regular education. The kind of learning and education what Chitkara University is following is through the startup journey. Once you give the students, okay, this is your startup company, this is your idea, this is your mentor, and you have to come with a successful startup journey. He's learning what to do in the finance side, he's learning the deep technologies, he knows what is the business development, how to market, how to branding, the entire thing through Ekalavi education, they're able to learn. Not that professors are teaching everything for them. So this is the kind of model I'm suggesting to all the educational institutions, all the private universities, public universities, unless you create that kind of a talent. Otherwise, the Thomas Friedman has written a long time ago a book called World is Flat. Today world is flat. Suppose there is an opportunity in US or Europe, anybody can compete. Indians can compete, Stanford students can compete. Similarly, there is an opportunity in Bangalore. Anybody can compete for the opportunity. So, unless you prepare our talent of that nature, our talent should be on par with Stanford students or MIT students or whatever is possible. So, only thing is we have to apply our mind and see that how do we take care of our India's prospects, because this is a journey. We got a very good journey, and thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, the way he is making India to really become the superpower of the world, and that's possible provided we take care of creating good talent and also help the startup companies so they will create new jobs. So in this journey, I request all of you to participate in this Maha Yagnam. Fire ritual, it is not JHO, this Yagnam, it is all of you have to think, how do I help a startup company, how do I help an engineering college or a university where they can be told how they can increase the productivity of this thing, how they can learn better. Otherwise, what is happening, they go through AICT, UGC and all that this thing, though they came with some reforms, there are tinkering reforms. We need disruptive reforms because we are going through the disruptive world today. This era is called disruptive era. in this disruptive era, we need disruptive reforms in every sector, education sector, healthcare sector, every sector we need to have that kind of a disruptions in the policies and everywhere. So with this, I want to thank Chinmay for giving me this opportunity to come and speak to all of you. And I once again request, it's a moment where all of us have to think today, what is that I am doing something good for the country? Am I mentoring somebody as a student or a startup company? That kind of a thing, initiative that you should have. Then I think nobody can stop India, and India is going to do very well. Thank you so much for listening to me.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Today, we are going through the big transformation in terms of the technology, in terms of the business model. The whole world is changing. In this changing dynamics, unless we also bring those disruptive reforms at every level, then only we will be able to catch up to a new wave, which is going to be helpful to the country. The only thing is, we have to bring such reforms. Otherwise, normally, the government parallel, you take some decision once in 5 years, that's not going to work. Every 6 months, we have to come with what is relevant today and upgrade our this thing, bring new policy directions and help the student community to come up to that kind of expectations. Then we can compete with anybody in the world and take advantage of this transformation happening. Because of the digital transformation, it is cutting across all sectors. You take agriculture, you take healthcare, you take defense, aerospace, everywhere. Technology is a constant parameter, and the technology is changing so fast. So that we have to take to our advantage. Our children are ready to absorb and learn these new technologies and become productive. The only thing is we have to bring that reforms, education reforms, so that when these talented kids who are spending their quality time in the engineering colleges and all that, they should be given all the weapons so that they can fight whomever this thing, the new Kurukshetra war, and become successful. So talent becomes a very, very important aspect. I think whatever Chinmay is doing, bringing the Indian talent conferences like today happening in Bangalore, is very relevant. What is relevant for today and what is relevant for tomorrow, we have to catch up those things, and nobody can compete with India because we have that talent pool, and we have to only upgrade our skills and bring those disruptive changes so that we will be able to catch up with the people.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
This Startup India, Government of India scheme has a lot of inspiration and motivation for the youths in India. So many people have started, and starting is easy, and starting to surviving and scaling up. This is the biggest challenge currently we are seeing. And Startup India seed fund also Department of Science and Technology is providing, and people are taking benefit out of that. And it has brought a lot of ecosystem to create many startups in the country. And the Startup India movement is by and large in the urban part of the India. But if you see the rural part of India, people go for startup because of adversity and because of necessity. And those startups never die. They take more time. They are organic startups. They take more time and they grow bigger and they make a mark. And probably you see all India's great companies. They have started small beginning, they have a small place. Kirloskar is the best example from Kirloskar. I am Nagpur, we have Section 8 company called INFED. I am Nagpur Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, and we have received the highest funding of Niti Aayog Atal Innovation Center. We also received the Startup India Seed Fund, and again Entrepreneur in Residence is another scheme of Department of Science and Technology. We are one of the high performer among the Atal Innovation Centers. Being the new campus and in the country, we are the best campus out of all 21 IIMs. And we have focused on women entrepreneurship last few years, and 42 women already moved from startup to scale. and large number of youths are participating in Startup India movement through IIM Nagpur, and we have a large number of mentors, those who are the serial entrepreneurs. They mentor our new incubatees, and they also provide all kind of support, hand holding, and that is need of an hour for startup to survive and not to give up is one of the important mantra. And if the focus is not give up, then probably they will not continue for long. So therefore, not to give up and providing the kind of ecosystem and mentoring. We also conduct the boot camps and trainings, and also some kind of discussion. It is all about build the positivity among the entrepreneurs, how to overcome the adversities and difficulties. So this is how we provide, and that has given a good result.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be having a panel discussion, the CXO perspectives, disruption to innovation, and that's what we had to start off. The conversation is going to be centered around how AI and automation are reshaping talent. So, to take this panel discussion further, I'd like to call upon the moderator. He is the chief mentor at My Anatomy, a wonderful person. I got to interact with him in Hyderabad, and every minute spent with him was worth its weight in gold. Very energetic and is full of knowledge, from handling oneself to running companies, marketing. You ask him and he's there. So, and he's also been awarded quite a number of awards, and the biggest one was in 2017, coming in from the Times of India Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ganesh Shenoy on stage, the chief mentor at My Anatomy. Welcome, sir. I'll let you take the dais. Pleasure to have you here. I'll let you do this. So this way. So you can be here. Okay. DJ's got extra money for the fanfare. Huh? Okay. The Vice President, Seed Chitkara University, Mr. Piyush Garg. And a round of applause should keep going as I will be calling on our next panelist, the ex-managing director and country head at SVB India and GCC leader, Mr. Primal Jennison. Welcome, sir. Welcome, a pleasure and honor to have you. Let's quickly get the managing director and CEO at Expelio Group, Mr. Balaji Vishwanathan. He's already joined us. The Chief Community Officer and founding member, Divya Ravindranathan at Equity for Women. Thank you. Give her a round of applause. Director Chief Architect at Kendall is Mr. Pradeep Rao. Can I have a round of applause for him? Gentlemen, ladies, the lady and the gentleman, thank you for being here with us. And I'll let Mr. Shenoy take over. Just to throw some insight from my side, there was a time when you finished engineering and then companies would spend 6 months putting you on a bench and training you, right? And now how AI is going to change, not only this, but what about the talent that's already within the system? So it's going to be an interesting conversation. I look forward to it. And I think Mr. Shenoy would be the perfect gentleman to take things forward. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. How AI and automation are reshaping talent.
Thank you, Abhishek, and it's wonderful to be hosting a panel discussion really on this topic of AI and whatever we talk about in terms of disruption. So thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. Thank you, Nathan sir, for joining us. And so the topic for panel discussion today is about disruption to innovation and how AI and automation are reshaping talent management and it's driving innovation and creating new opportunities for employers as well as employees who stay ahead of the curve and gain competitive advantage. So I want to commence the panel discussion with a strong quote. Change is inevitable. The disruption it comes often brings inconvenience and opportunity. So I would urge the panel to focus on the opportunity that it brings in terms of whatever disruption and change that we are going through today. And I would start with Premal. My first question to you is, what is the impact of disruption and the challenges of transformational change from traditional to AI and automation? So there are a lot of organizations which have made a transition already. So I would urge you to talk about what is the impact and the kind of challenges.
Thanks, Ganesh. Thank you all for having us. It's a very interesting conversation to start with. We saw the dais, Dr. Chowdhury's talk about the impact of disruption to all of us. If you think about it, let's maybe distill this down into three parts, right? Business, processes, and people. Okay, if you think about business, right now, every C-suite agenda has AI included in it. We cannot get away from it. Even universities or even in organizations, startups, everywhere AI is taking center stage. So that's number one. While the solutions for AI are coming up and they're coming up at a very fast pace, the leaders need to know how and where to invest, the amount of money you need to invest, the resources you need to redirect to stay ahead of the game. So I think that's one very critical aspect of how the disruption is taking from moving a traditional business model to an AI supported system. Then on the back end, you have your customer experience, which is basically how your customers will behave and how your customers set will understand why you are introducing AI in the first place, whether they're going to be comfortable with that. That's another part to it. Now let's move on to the process side. So traditional models have a very strong bedrock of foundational processes, a very huge tech stack, either legacy or modernized. Then you also have your governance and risk and compliance process sitting on top of them. All of that have to be rebuilt now if you introduce AI, because you cannot just layer something on top of AI and then call it, think, hey, now I have an AI-enabled organization. So now you have that as a very key consideration, which again means it goes back to the business saying that can I invest in this as a whole, and how much of this disruption can an organization take. The last and the most important piece is people. Like we talked about, there is job displacement, there is things about upskilling, but think about the opportunity of this. One amazing thing about the India talent base is its ability to quickly redirect our focus to get to the next generation of skill sets. So those three I think are like key areas where I think the disruption from very traditional models to AI, and now we see organizations like academia moving towards AI generated content, post content, which I think is a huge opportunity for us. And combining all these three, I think the disruption, the innovation, I think we can lead on from here.
Yeah. So my question, the next question is to Mr. Balaji. At Explio, you work with a lot of Fortune companies, right? And specifically in the BFSI sector. And if you have to quantify the AI adoption, if you have to rate the AI adoption globally and locally on a scale of 5, what would be your quantification?
See, it's very difficult to quantify because it will depend on what the benefits that has actually driven to each one of the organizations. But if I were to look at it's not a question of quantifying, it's the question of how it has been adopted and what value it has driven to end customers. If I were to look at that as the scale, I would say we are anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 in terms of what value it has actually driven to the end customers. Because that's what the objective is. And like what Premal said and what we heard today from the 30-year-old and the 40-year-old, if I were to look at it, it's the question of understanding your customers. And for that, the underlying data is going to be the most critical element. So whatever we talk about in terms of AI, whatever we talk about in terms of disruption, It's the question of what is the underlying data, what is the kind of quality of that particular data, and that's one of the areas that we work very closely with our customers on, because there's no point in just putting in all the AI models on top of the already biased information or what we think is the right information. It's a question of making sure that we analyze the data, cleanse that particular information, make sure that there are limited biases. The conversation I had with Pradeep when we were walking in, I've been a customer of one of the banks for the last 30 years, since I started my career. And if I were to go back and see as to whether they understand me, I would say no. But there are other bankers whom I've started engagement the last 4 or 5 years, but they have probably been able to understand me better. The reason is, how do you classify your information? How do you make your AI models on top of that information rather than going with your own biases of bucketing everybody in one particular.
Thanks. So my next question is to you, Divya. Has AI and automation technologies influenced organizations to rethink and reshape talent management?
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh, and good morning, everyone. I think after a wonderful context setting and an inspiring keynote address by Sir Chowdhury and a very disruptive message that went out from the 13-year-old Shagun, I think we are in the path, an inevitable path of innovation and disruption, that AI is put forth to us, and talent management is in no way, set apart from this whole journey. So today, when you look at talent management as a whole, you would see that a lot of AI and automation in place, which has enabled organizations to have data-driven decision-making process in this whole talent management journey, and then having trend analysis and predictive analysis in place, when it comes to hiring, onboarding. And of course, not to forget about the seamless onboarding process that we have today with a lot of automation. And the pandemic era saw a lot of collaborative tools in place too, which enable a lot of these virtual onboarding, virtual hand-holding towards not only getting the employees on board, but also paving a path for a continuous engagement. So with AI and automation plays, what I see forth, when I don't just restrict talent management with recruiting, but an overall engagement or a journey that the individual has with the organization, whether it be in terms of L&D